Well, good morning, good morning, good morning, and good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Got a great broadcast lineup for you this morning, as I hope and I pray that we always do. I'm just a question asker. I'm not important, just a question asker. Name is Raheem Najee, but we got two people here that's with us already. That's very important. We're going to go to ladies first. Toya, what to tell everybody who you are and where you're hailing from.
Good morning, good morning. Toya with the T, calling from the ATL.
Good deal, good deal. And Badger, good morning, sir. Hold on for a minute. Get Badger in here. There you go. Badger, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, everyone. I hope everyone's going to have a beautiful and blessed day.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now you know what we're doing here. We're actually continuing a conversation that we started yesterday. We're continuing a conversation that we started yesterday. But before we get there, I need to ask a question. Told you what a T. What do you think? What do you think? And we're gonna jump right into our question. We're not gonna stay on this right long at all, maybe 5 minutes tops. But what do you think about all those Republicans sending all those people, immigrants, if you will, is what they how they refer to them to Washington D.C. To Vice President Kamala Harris house, sending them up to Boston, Martha's Vineyard. They're just taking them from Florida and Texas and just shipping them out, just to pretty much like a political pawn to get rid of their problems and sending them to another city in another state. What do you think about that, Toya? Talk to me.
Well, humans always been ignorant. That's
Mm-hmm.
why we had slavery. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And some of the same ignorant people had ignorant children and grandchildren. Ignorance running their bloodline.
Mm-hmm.
And these people, they run our offices. That's why we got to get up and be active and vote. We got to get up and start taking these offices because they can be ignorant. It's a lot of us ignorant folk out here that can do a lot better than they do in there. You understand what I'm saying? That's
Mm-hmm.
just plain ignorant. From an adult point of view, from a so-called American point of view, what we're supposed to stand for, our values, our constitutional rights, and even just being a decent human being.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
really ignorant. You
Mm-hmm.
feel what I'm
Exactly.
saying? This is what we
Mm-hmm.
talking about. This is why this place is crumbling right now because of issues like that. They still make America. Humans are still humans. We're not just a
Mm-hmm.
commodity. We're not a herd of cattle. We're not a herd of vegetables. I mean, I just don't understand some people, and that's why that specific group of people. That's why they're not going to survive in our day anymore.
Mm-hmm.
We're just tired of that kind of behavior, and they don't have long to go.
Exactly, exactly. Badger, what do you think about that, man? And some of the people actually came from your home, from not your home state, from the state that you reside in right now, Texas. They sent them up to Martha's Venues and sent some of them over to Washington D.C. to Vice President Kamala Harris' house. They sent them to what? How is that helping anybody, Badger? How is that helping the situation?
I mean, I don't even know why it's a talking point.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest,
Mm-hmm.
it's a group of people doing something that don't make no sense as per norm,
Mm-hmm.
and they who knows, they could have paid them. I mean, it sounds like they paid for their trip, so
But my question is, if you're going to take them from one place where they're in need of assistance, help, housing, clothing. One lady said she had on the same clothes for months because she don't have any other clothing. That's all she have. So if you're gonna take somebody out of a situation like that, take them, put them on a bus from your state, buy them a ticket, purchase the bus or whatever, and send them somewhere else. How's that gonna solve their problem? They still
uh,
have the problem just in another location. So you rectified nothing. You just relocated them.
hold on. You're saying they got sent from Texas?
Yeah, some of them got sent from Texas. Yeah, and some of them got sent from Florida, and they were
Who?
sent to Martha's Vineyard. They were sent to Martha's Vineyards, and someone was actually sent to Washington D.C. to Vice President Harris's front house.
So who do I gotta talk to?
I don't know who you could talk to. I'm gonna ask you about the situation. What do you think about the situation?
They can send me to.
Okay, Badger.
I mean, it's Texas.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I need to say.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Toy you want to I'm trying to understand how does that rectify the situation at all. You just relocated the problem.
No, Raheem, stop. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's not about rectification. We're talking about America. We're talking about people who enslaved a whole bunch of other people, dragged them out of my house and did all kind of experiments on them and stuff like that. This is really light work for America.
Mm-hmm.
This is really light work, but we should not be acting like it's anything strange in America due to their history.
Mm-hmm.
This is why I want a divorce. Because we don't do right. Humans
Wow.
don't do right, man. People
Mm-hmm.
don't care. And these are the people that are running our offices. And this is why we are in the conditions that we are in our society. It's because
Mm-hmm.
of the people that run it. It's not only that, okay? It's the mindsets of the people. We're allowing them to run it like this. You understand what I'm saying? We're
Mm-hmm.
even identifying that people have a real issue with a so-called immigrant. That baffles me on American soil. I know you better not feel no kind of way. And what? They built this place on immigrants. They went and stole folk and still steal folk on a daily basis. It's called sex trafficking on a regular basis to fund this place. What do you mean you feel some kind of way about a Latino crossing the border? Are you kidding me? Come on with the jokes. But people have issues with this. And when people have issues with this, they're not going to identify with what we're saying right now on what that was wrong. Right? Let me be ignorant for a second, right? Well, they ain't got no clothes. They was an immigrant anyway, right? And well, they're not missing nothing, Bob. Well, what they ain't come here working. They're immigrants. Just sit them up there, Bob. You know what I'm saying? No, that's the same slave master mentality. Now, me being touched by God, right? Being a little bit softer now in life. Let's go. Can we help them, put them in an institution to help them learn English, to help them get a job, to help them get housing, to help them get clothes? What's so hard with that? What's so wrong with that? What's so wrong with that? You know what I'm saying? Why you doing this for other countries? We do a whole bunch of other stuff for other countries, but something as simple as taking people who's running from one place, just like they're running from Ukraine in a war, they're running from one place that is not, underdeveloped, so-called not humane, to try to come here and get a better life. And that's what you do to them. That's a slave master mentality.
Wow. Toussaint, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning? Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. Toussaint, I need to hear you. And we got our topic we're going to talk about today. We definitely going to get into that topic. I wanted to touch on this briefly for a second. And we got Cassandra. I definitely want to hear her heart on this too. But my thing is this. You have certain government officials in the state of Texas and in the state of Florida that took the immigrants from their states, put them on a bus, and sent them either to Martha's Vineyards or to Washington, D.C., to Vice President Kamala Harris's house. They sent her to her house. It was out there in front of the house. They couldn't get inside the fence, I guess, but they was right outside the fence, and they was standing there, hundreds of them. I ain't gonna say thousands, but hundreds of them, just standing there. Now, Toussaint, help me understand, how is that fixing a problem? Only thing I see is that you just took a situation that these people had, and you relocated that situation from your front door to somebody else's front door. How did you help them at all?
It's not about helping them. It's some sort of mental and physical attack on the vice president. Just to kind of like discredit, or that's just me. I'm just saying. People have motives for doing stuff. I don't know, man. If I was to try to make a statement to I'm just trying to think about the mindset of people, So if somebody said they were able, or you thought that they should do something about a situation, and then you wanted to just make a bold statement to throw them under the bus, to discredit them, to humiliate them. Wouldn't that be a good way to do it?
Mm-hmm.
Take somebody that you really don't care nothing about,
Yeah.
put them on the bus,
Mm-hmm.
and put them on the front. Put them, send them to the address of the person that you despise the most
Mm.
because
Wow.
they're in position. I'm just thinking. I think way out there,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
that's way out there.
I mean,
I couldn't understand. I don't have to. I'm like, give me 30 more seconds, Mahim.
okay.
But I never did get Mr. Badger. I didn't want to call your name, but you say send me that too. Do that. What in the world? I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Badger says send him there too. Hey, Ms. Hicks, you got some background feedback coming from your video line there. But Cassandra, what's on your heart this morning? What sense does that make, Cassandra? And I know how you do. You be out in the community and you help a lot of people in a lot of situations and help them through and out of those situations and conditions that they're in. Cassandra, how does this help? Taking them from one place,
No,
busing them somewhere else.
no, I literally, I want to cry because this is the type of stuff that lets you know that a lot of these people are hateful, evil people in these positions.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you do that? Why would you do that?
Mm-hmm.
Why would any decent, let me put it like this, why would any decent human being send, see, this is my problem a lot with the Republican Party. And I don't give a rat's who as a Republican. This is like the type of stuff that they do, the hateful, vindictive, evil stuff that they be doing. Somebody got to help me with that.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but they keep saying, we're all for the country. Tell me what good came out of what they did? What positive came out of what they did? All it did is make me despise that group and what they do, what they stand for even more. You hate, as far as I'm concerned, poor people, needy people, immigrants, gays. You hate everybody, but yet you pushing some agenda like you some godly group of people, Christians that want to see things better in this country, but you keep doing deceitful stuff like what you do. Man, listen. Okay, I'm done.
It doesn't to me, and I was hoping y'all was gonna be able to give me some understanding, some kind of clarity on it. I just don't see how that makes sense. You took a person that was
tell me.
Yeah.
You tell me, Raheem. Explain to me what sense did that make?
Mm-hmm. I can't see it.
Other than you being evil.
Mm-hmm. It's almost like you saying, you got somebody that's causing problems on your front yard. And you say, look at here, I know you're hungry. I know you need this. I know you're in need of this. Go across the street over there to them and they'll help you. And you got all the resources, everything that they need in your house, but you just refuse to give it to them. You say, okay, I just want to get you off my yard. I'm gonna get you out of my yard. So go over there. Go over there to Charlie's house. Charlie and them will be able to help you. You relocated the problem. They still have the same issue. They still have the same wants, the same needs, and the same desires, but you just refuse to help them. And so you want to pass the buck, if you will, and send it somewhere else. You did nothing for these people. You did nothing for them at all. Maybe I'm crazy because maybe I just don't get it. Mr. Hicks.
It's disgusting.
It is. Mr. Hicks,
good. It's disgusting.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Cassandra. Finish your thoughts, sis.
No, I'm sorry. This kind of stuff, because it's about people.
Mm-hmm.
It's about how you treat people
mm-hmm.
and what message you're sending about what people are worth.
Mm-hmm.
I don't give a dang about nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
Who does that? It's disgusting. Mm-hmm. And they're a disgusting group of governors and mayors and stuff. The stuff that they have done, from voting to everything else. And you talking about why people don't want to be Republicans? That's the damn reason why. Excuse my language.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. It's and they stood there and tried to defend it like they did something great, like they did something real good. They sit there and they had an interview and they talked about it. This is what it is, and that, bruh, come on, man. Mr. Hicks, what's on your heart? Good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Doing fine, Raheem, and good morning, Gold family.
Mm-hmm.
Ask me the question.
Well, we
Put
just
it out.
yeah, we're just trying to figure out, man. You got two states. You got Texas and Florida, and the governors of those states took the immigrants that they had in their place, put them on a bus, either sent them to Martha's Vineyards, or they sent them to Washington D.C. to Vice President Harris's front door. They was outside the fence. They couldn't get in, but it was right there. And they had these people sitting on the streets. They still in the same situation that they were in where they left either Texas or Florida. They still don't have the necessary things that they need where they went when they left Texas or Florida. They just relocated. Only thing you did was relocated these people. They still have the same issues. They still have the same problems. And I'm just trying to figure out, how did you help them?
It wasn't trying to help them. I mean, it's obvious where you stand. It's obvious what I hear, and I had to really pull myself for this battle, because this is a battle.
Mm-hmm.
It seems to me that when Biden was politicking, he was sending out signals for them to come. In fact, I think initially, if I'm correct, they came with T-shirts on. So the policies that has been allowing this kind of virtue signal for immigrants while ignoring citizens by these sanctuary cities,
Mm-hmm.
they've been allowing them to come in. So it seems to me that I got distracted. My son came and distracted my thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
But listen, it's not a long history. Just look back and look at that.
Mm-hmm.
I remember back in the 80s when I left social work and put the kids that was graduating into some kind of industry. I was became an asbestos supervisor, and I had a license for various different states. I would get these kids that were kids when I met them, but now young adults, get them certified to do this removal. I paid for help finance them to get their license. Then we travel from state to state. Life was good. They all brought their families up. But as the industry evolved, when immigrants start coming on and contractors start getting these illegal immigrants with false papers, going and lowering the price, and that's what happened now. The person that's going to be impacted the most by all these immigrants coming in just through our borders. You're going to have a country if you don't have a border. To me, when I served in Vietnam, I was prudent guard. You have to have a border. So it just seems to me the emphasis about we're not here to take care of them. Just follow another system that's packed people playing again. Now I have the heart for them, but my point is this: we were talking the other day about building your thing or coming in when it's done. I think for these people, whatever the reason is, they're leaving the situation where the Creator put them at, from that earth and that place. And rather than stand up and fight against a tyranny that was really a lot of the policy of this country against South Americans, they pumped up these dictators for centuries down there, the CIA and other undercover stuff. But just to a point like this, I understand what they're doing. So it's easy to say, I got a sanctuary system, and you can come there, and matter of fact, we'll see if we can get you the ability to vote, even though you're not a citizen. You don't need to understand the concept. And not you come into blend the culture. You're coming into running from your duty to uplift your people in your country. And I understand, but it's frustrating to me because people are so short-sighted to me. But it's creating what it is. It's the whole narrative of the Democratic Party. And most everybody in this line are Democrats. I understand that. Me, I'm nothing. I don't identify with them.
Okay.
Any of them. Because
let me say, when this country was quote unquote created, we was given by France, I think it was France or whatever how you want to say it, the Statue of Liberty. And on that Statue of Liberty, it had a certain verbiage that was on that Statue of Liberty saying that give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses. And it went on. Let me pull it up. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yawning to breathe free. The rent refuser. It basically what it's saying is This is a land that you could come to, a land of quote unquote milk and honey. You could come here and have another opportunity to have a better life. And so, and I don't think that, I can't say, but I don't want to put that on one side, Democrat over the Republicans. I don't want to do that, but I do want to read what it says. And there was an invitation that was cast out to the world that you can come here and have a brand new start. Now,
through a process, legal process.
Okay, but
You could
let me ask
come
you.
through a legal.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Through a legal process, I can
That's
write you
all.
that. But let me ask you this: did that legal process consist of? And I'm just a question asker, brother. Did that legal
Yes, sir.
process consist of you just taking them from where you feel as though they're unwanted and send them to another place, put them on a bus and send them somewhere else? How does that fall into the legal process? I'm missing
Send it to
something.
the people that would advocate it. Send it to the cities and send it to the people that got these sanctuary systems that say, come on in. The back with a Biden t-shirt, send them to them so it can put the stress on their systems rather than just the border states that's been suffering from it with the murders
Mm-hmm.
and killings that's going on down there in Texas, going through those barriers. So so up there in all these sanctuary systems,
Mhm.
California, all the place, they don't feel the effect of it.
Mm-hmm.
So send these people there, let them feel the effect on their system so they can look at the real thing about this immigration problem.
That sounds a lot to me. And I know your heart. I know that you will help anybody. You're doing that right now. And I know you'll help people when you find somebody in need. But that process of what they did sound a lot to me like pass the buck. Just pass the buck to somebody else. Or it ain't our problem. We're gonna wash our hands, we're gonna send you over there. They'll take care of you. I'm not gonna do anything for you. I'm gonna put you on a bus. I'm not gonna feed you, not gonna clothe you, not gonna do nothing for you. I'm gonna put you on a bus. Now you're somebody else's problem. You're no longer.
Raheem,
Yes, you're no longer our problem. You're somebody else's problem. Go ahead, Cassandra. Oh, I'm
Look,
sorry.
look,
Miss
I
Hicks.
don't want to. I'm not going to go back and forth on the debate this morning. It's not good for my spirit.
Mhm.
But I'm saying, be clear. Look at things. Be honest, and just take your policies, take your hat off about the things, and look right in front of you.
Okay.
It's really surprising me today that
Mhm.
we're talking about this matter.
Mhm.
Right while we're talking about this matter all week, this week, last week, all the stuff that's been happening used politically.
Mhm.
I thought I'd say, hey, this brother keep waiting for political thing. That's pretty cool.
Mhm.
It keeps the debate down. But now we're talking about this on the political now.
Because
But look
Miss
at
Hicks,
all the other stuff that's coming out.
but Mr. Hicks,
Brother,
what we do,
I'm
what we do.
overwhelmed. I can't do this.
Okay, let me say this to you, Mr.
I
Hicks.
can't do it.
Let me say this to you, Mr. Hicks.
I
What we,
gotta.
Mr. Hicks, let me finish my thought for a second, sir. What we do here, this is an issue that is happening right now. We deal with issues that's happening, that's going on. My main objective of this particular broadcast today was to continue what we said yesterday, but this happened yesterday, and so what we do, we deal with issues that's going on, be it political or whatever it is. We deal with issues. We talk about issues, and
But I
that's
wasn't
what we're doing
trying to
right now.
attack. I'm just saying. I'm not debating. I'm just saying. Listen, all this stuff about the DOJ, all this false stuff that's coming out, all this arresting people, going in and arresting people, and interrogating people, what is going on by these Democrats at DOJ, all that stuff is going on. That's right now and here.
Okay, we can talk about that
right
too.
now and here too.
We can talk about
I
that
gotta
too.
go, bro.
Okay,
I gotta.
okay, we can talk about that as
I
well,
gotta
sir.
go because I feel the energy coming from all the places. I heard the power. I'm not really going to deal with that. I'm
Okay.
not debating these things. I just say, just clearly, just be fair. If you're watching a basketball game and you see one side is cheating
Mhm.
and you see everybody is cheap,
Mhm.
you're going to act like because you want your team to win.
Miss Hicks, let me ask you this one question, sir. Let me ask you this one question, Miss Hicks. How are we not being fair with dealing with what happened? I'm not talking from a Democrat. Some people may be, but I'm not talking about it from a Democratic or Republican. I'm talking about what happened to those people. I'm talking about what they did to those people. I don't give a rat's tutu about Democratic or Republican. I don't care a rat tutu about that. But what I do care about is how you treat people and what they did to those people. They happen to be Republican Party because it came out and they said who they were. It happened to be Republicans that did that. And I'm dealing with what happened to those people. I don't care whether they're Democratic,
What they
Republicans.
did to
What
those
happened?
people. I'm
This is what
saying
happened.
Biden opened the floodgates to bring those people in. Nobody squirt the thing about that.
Mm-hmm.
They eat thousands. They come about 1,000. Wayne, I saw with T-shirts on saying, with Biden T-shirts
Mhm.
coming through this country.
Okay.
All I'm saying is this: those people, they wouldn't be going all over the country. They'd be sitting there in those little border towns, pulling off resources of those communities. Even though the people that advocate for the sanctuary stuff is all up north and scattered all over the place. It just seems to me
You know what's
sort of
amazing?
logical that we're going to send them to you, let you taste what we've been tasting down here for years.
But you know what's amazing to
Paycheck.
me? You know what's amazing to me is we have a conversation like this, and we'll say stuff like that. But there was a long time they said about us as black people, we're gonna take their jobs, we're gonna rape rape their women, we're gonna do this, and it has shifted. They said that about us, brother. They said that we're gonna do this, and
They said it about the Irish. They said it about the Italians. They said about the Chinese.
so it's
They
ongoing
said this-
ongoing conversation. This is what they say. But my thing is what they did, and if Biden, if what you're saying is absolutely right, and it could be, because I'm sure you're not gonna come on here and spit nothing that's not true. But if Biden was the cause of them people being here, that's one thing. But now that they're here, what are we going to do? And mistreat them is not the answer. And I'm not gonna
That ain't
I'm not gonna turn the blinds eye.
They stand in hotels. They getting food. They getting clothes. They getting shelter.
I missed
they
that.
getting indoctrinated
I
to
missed
vote
that.
for a system that's going to give them some more stuff.
I missed that because
But
I missed that because the people that was coming out from the cities and the states that they brought them to said they were not prepared for these people. They didn't even warn them that they were coming. They didn't even warn the
Of
people
course.
that they was coming. They just put them on a bus and sent them there. When they popped up, that's when they realized they had a problem. Let me go to Cassandra. Cassandra, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead and do what you can do.
Okay, Cassandra, what's on your heart, sis?
Raheem, I'm on the path right now. You know, there are other people on the line. I'm sorry.
Okay, Rico, you was about to say something, sir. What's on your heart?
Yeah, man. I've been sitting up for a second anyway, man. Welcome to a new day.
Hey,
Um,
good morning to you, sir.
Listen,
Mhm.
first off, I'm glad Hicks didn't feel that way with that girl and her children.
Exactly.
You see, somewhere you got to think in a humane way, and you got to drop this political crap.
Mm-hmm.
You know this is their political game,
Mm-hmm.
and somehow we don't win and join in the politics and made this about immigration. But look, these are human beings.
Mm-hmm.
We could call them immigrants. We could call them whatever.
Yep.
But the way they treat them is like they just rounded up a bunch of dogs.
Yep.
Thank
Exactly.
you.
Exactly.
So this is about how you treat people.
Mm-hmm.
These are just, you know what I'm saying, chickens and little animals running around. These are human beings that you round up and bust off.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing about it. This ain't a political thing, because if it had been Democrats doing it to Republicans, it would be the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
But now here we go. We biting that we biting that game that they created, and then then going along with the talking points. Well, really and truly, this is a situation where other people would get locked up with this, because they call it smuggling.
Yep.
Lock them up.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
We want to talk about legal. We want to talk about legal process. Well, two wrongs don't make a right.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to fix it somewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
When you see a system broken somewhere, it got to start being corrected.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're locking up other people for smuggling immigrants, lock up them governors for smuggling immigrants
Mm-hmm.
across border lines
Exactly.
and state lines,
Mm-hmm.
and leave it at that. Y'all can have all that Biden and Trump stuff. You can have all that political stuff.
Mm-hmm.
This is a human thing.
Mm-hmm.
This is a God thing. This is a supreme creator thing.
Exactly. And see, and that's why I said, man, I don't give a rat's cahoot about Republicans or who it is. You're treating these people wrong. You're treating these people wrong. Whether you're Democratic, Republicans, that don't matter to me, man. I'm looking at the facts, and the facts are, and Mr. Hicks had a great point. He said, Biden was the one that opened the gates, and if that be the case, that's fine. We need to deal with that as well. But at the same time, we still have an issue. These people are here. What are we gonna do for these people that's here, regardless of how they got here? Well,
that ain't even an issue. I
Yeah.
mean, you brought up the fact that they bust them up. Let's talk about the facts. You said
Mhm.
you're gonna talk about the facts.
Mm-hmm.
See, 'cause now you're going into a whole nother issue.
Mm-hmm.
So now somebody else could bring in a whole nother point. But the fact is that these governors low down. What they did, it crossed the line, and that's
Mhm.
what the point is. Because right about now, you can overlook everything they just did. Talk about, well, they need this, they need that. They got hotels. They ain't do it the right way. Man, look what these governors did.
Mm-hmm.
These are people, they are supposed to have some type of honor and integrity about the position that they hold. They got authority and power, and they rounded up human beings like dogs and broke the law.
Mm-hmm.
They did what other people go to prison for a long time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Exactly. And see, that's the part I don't want to miss, and that's the part I don't want nobody to miss. Technically, they did, but they broke the law. Let me go to who we got. Joseph. Joseph, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, family. Y'all fired up, man. It's sounding good, man.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I'm glad that we are maturing as a nation. Really, American people are waking up. These are just talking points that the Republicans need ahead of the midterm. They are trying to swing more voters.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to eat their base and get other independents fired up against the immigrants. But the fact of the matter is, our policies, and if we date it all the way back to the Monroe Doctrine, which allows the United States to interfere in any country just about in the Western Hemisphere over here in the island nation. I mean, one of the reasons why they don't want Haiti to succeed is because that's the first Black republic. You know what that would do to the psyche of Black folks throughout the diaspora if Haiti was allowed to succeed and thrive, and I mean that would inspire so many Black people.
Mm-hmm.
The U.S. And then when we look at now that the U.S. don't have slave labor, they need cheap labor. These rich people are going to have cheap labor. They're going to let illegal aliens come in. They're going to falsify papers, whatever they need to do, because they make the rules. They have the money and power to make the rules, and they're going to have cheap labor. And then they control the press, so they know how to stir up sentiments against immigrants.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, while they make off like Brother Madoff, the one that stole all the billionaires' money.
Mm-hmm.
See, this is a joke. It's a game that they play, and just like Rico said, it's a game.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, it's inhumane, but that's what they want. They want to. I mean, Greg Abbott in Texas, Ducey, DeSantis in Florida. These governors are trying to create the climate where they can peel off some more votes ahead of the midterm. That's all this is. And if there's anything more, somebody prove it to me. But see, what we got to do is realize that it's time for the United States to change its policies toward South America.
Mm-hmm.
We can't go going down there assassinating their leaders and supporting dictators and propping up bad leaders. When a good leader come along, charismatic like a Malcolm X or Martin Luther King, what happened? They kill them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Just like they do in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
That's the American policies. That's the FBI, CIA, who are always working all across the Western Hemisphere. They do this and then control the media and tell us what to think about it.
Mm-hmm.
No, man, that's a joke. We cannot keep on playing that game. And our brother, unfortunately, he's just regurgitating the talking points. This is what the Republican did this for, to give us talking points.
Mm-hmm.
and to side with them. I'm not siding with no MAGA people who. How come they don't sit down with the Democrats and come up with a comprehensive immigration policy? It's not practical.
Mm-hmm.
It's not practical. Rich folks ain't gonna have it because rich folks gonna have cheap labor.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and they're gonna suppress the prices of the commodities all across South America. The pineapples, the coffee, and everything. They're gonna suppress the commodity prices, and they're gonna suppress the wages. And those people are going to run up here to find a better way of life.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And that's all this is.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody can see anything different, please let me know.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. 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 Toy, you want to talk to me, sis?
No,
Toya?
I mean, absolutely. Kill their leader. And then when they need a place to go, you don't want to do your part. So everything the young man just said is absolutely right. And again, some of us in America, the reason why we're on the Republican Party is because we agree with that motto. We agree with that same type of mentality. So it's okay for that to be done for some of us because that's how we feel. How that happens, I don't understand, because until it's you or your child, you know what I mean? Until it's you or your child, it's like, how can you even agree with something like that being done? How can you agree with someone, let's just say, let's talk about us, bringing you over here against your will, and they shipped them off, right? Because it's a little bit more hectic where they came from. So, hey, we're going to bait you up and put you on this bus and take you here because it's better, right? And you get them over there and it's nothing. You know what I'm saying? And whatever it is, because there's nothing. Imagine them having to get beaten, abused, and manipulated, and all this stuff here because they're immigrants. Sound familiar? They can come up missing. They don't have no papers. Who's gonna know about it? You know what I'm saying? Let's not act like we don't know that this stuff still go on. They do it to people who are on papers. So what are you gonna think they're gonna do to immigrant? But oh no, I don't care because you're an immigrant. You shouldn't have been here. You shouldn't have been here from your own place. This place is made of immigrants. That's what we do. Who the hell are we?
Hey.
To tell somebody that they can't, you ain't make no land. Blink your eyes and make another earth then. You didn't do that. So how dare you? How dare you be so full of yourself to where there are people in need? We talk about this all the time. America always helping somebody someplace else. They don't help our own. But now when it comes time to helping, oh, you want to pick and choose help now. Oh, you only want to help black folk. Oh, you don't want to help Mexicans. You only want to help black folk in there. Oh, maybe some white folk because they in trouble. Oh, don't help no Chinese. See, that's how humans are. And that's how you need to recognize that's the devil. And if you're a person who find yourself thinking about another human, I wouldn't care if there was a child molester. If you feel like it's okay for them to be mistreated, if they were in jail, and it's okay for them to be mistreated, that's not right. Does it happen? Yes. But it still doesn't make it right. You understand what I'm saying? That's why they have law, you know what I'm saying, to try to keep a type of order. Because just because you feel that way, don't mean that it's right. It's not right for you to abuse people. It's not right for you to take people off, get them draped off in a worse situation. That's not what you do as a decent human being. Now, again, if you want to be a KKK being, white supremacist being, Hitler being, you have to be able to detach yourself from whatever you feel about this human being in order to slaughter them in such a way, in order to be cool with certain things that are not positive towards them. You know what I'm saying? And be okay with it. So if you find yourself being like that because they're Mexican, because they're Native American, because they're Chinese, you need to recognize the devil in yourself, and you need to go get in the corner, and you need to go find you a God because
Exactly.
All right.
508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Let me go to Captain, and Badger will come right back to you. Captain, good morning, sir. How are you doing this morning?
Good morning. Peace, everybody.
Captain, we're asking a question about what happened yesterday. State of Florida, state of Texas, rounded up a lot of immigrants, and they shipped them out put them out on a bus and sent them out of state. Sent some to Boston, Martha's Vineyard, and sent some to Washington, D.C. to Vice President Harris's front door. They had them outside the gate on the street, on the sidewalk. I'm trying to figure out to do something like that, man. How are you helping these people? How does that benefit anybody to just round them up, do nothing for them, give them nothing, and put them on the bus and say fair riddance? How does that help?
Hey, man, I mean, you know, I don't even like to get into the political conversation, you know, because that's again, politics, all right? I heard a lot of Democrats, I heard a lot of Republicans. When I hear that in the conversation, then to me that becomes political. And I try to stay away from, you know, political conversation, you know, really. We're not victims of politics. People are victims of politics. And all politics don't come from the political system. Politics can come out of religious institutions. Politics can come out of educational institutions. So when I hear, you know, people's opinion, I respect. I'm be honest, you know me, I'm not a political man. So
yes.
I really don't comment on that. You know, I'm just want to get back to what we talked about yesterday. I can't wait to get back to that part of the game. But that, you know, that's all I got to say about this.
Okay, good deal. Bats, you wanted to say something?
Oh man, this is a touch of a combination of yesterday, which we're continuing, and you know, even on the topic. Do y'all remember that big, huge church cult ordeal that happened in Big Sandy, Texas?
I think I heard something about it.
Yeah. I'm 20 minutes away from that group of people.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm surrounded by all that kind of stuff. It's not fun. And the reason I'm bringing that up is there's a lot of psychology. I actually appreciate Cap saying politics, because if you're struggling and you're seeing this person be successful, and this person's successful and they think a certain way, and they're telling you that the only way to be successful is to do what they do, what's the likelihood of what's going to happen?
Probably you're gonna end up doing what they do. You're gonna fall in the
So,
suit.
right. So that's why I made the comment yesterday that a lot of people are the way they are due to teachings. And money, greed. All the families that I've been around that have a really hard time surviving, and in their eyes they're doing the best they can. Some of them honestly think it's because they're not doing what their preacher is doing. So there's so much psychology involved in these topics and what the people in power are using and doing.
Mhm.
And a lot of the younger people that I've been talking to lately, a lot of them aren't being tricked by that. But that also is very dependent on where they live and where
Mhm.
they grew up.
Okay, but
So,
I'm trying to tie it together.
all
We
right,
we talk we talk
so
we talking about how these people were being treated,
yeah,
and you brought religion into it. I'm trying to connect those dots.
uh, here in Texas, there are a lot of pastors. If you ain't white, you part of the other. You're not good peeps.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of people still teaching that here.
Mm-hmm.
So, and when it comes to immigrants from Mexico or immigrants from anywhere, the consistent teaching that I have heard all over the place in multiple different areas of Texas that I've lived in is they're here to take our jobs.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the devil doesn't want us to work because they'll work for cheaper. They'll
Mm-hmm.
da 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 da. So they'd rather get rid of the immigrants. Most Texans I've talked to want that wall. Period. They don't want immigrants coming into this. They don't want Californians coming to this state.
But majority of the ones possibly that you're talking to are if you go down the line, the immigrants themselves. And so
Uh,
that sounds kind of a little fishy to me, because if you go if you the very people that you say that you're talking to don't want the quote unquote immigrants here. If you go down their timeline, they're immigrants too. They were not.
exactly.
And so my thing is, how could you say that? How could you say I don't want immigrants
Because
here when you're an immigrant yourself?
in their eyes, so I man, a few months ago, I gave you a situation. I was uh, part of that group that Public Citizen has, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I came
Wrap it up.
across this female that here's the white settlers coming into the West, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they were building homes. And she started saying how the Comanche deserved to be killed off because of what they were doing to the homesteaders.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, well, you're taking their land. And they're like, it wasn't their land. They were nomads. They were moving around all over the place.
Wow. Wow. Okay, Badge, we got to move
And
on. You're well over 3 minutes, brother. I just wanted to give you a little leisure, because you was making a point. I wanted to let you make your point, but wrap it up for me, and we got to move on.
in a nutshell, hateful people are going to be hateful.
Mm-hmm.
Ignorant people are ignorant because they see these people in power. They have power. They have money. They're going to try to mimic that behavior to accomplish the same goal.
Mm. Okay. Okay. Mr. Hicks, what's on your heart, sir?
Oh, yes, sir. I wanted to clarify one thing and how I respond to that. I wasn't saying and not applied any kind of way that I think is right.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm saying I understand it in the political battle and strategies.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it was right for Biden to give a go ahead to have those people rushing the border. And I don't think it's right for them shipping people to other cities. But I understand it. That's all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of situations where I don't agree with anything, but I understand it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And I think the thing is here is that as far as like, yeah, I think I'll do it, help, and I'll do if I met it, and I'm learning Spanish now because I'm getting myself prepared. They're going to flood this country.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it gives me an advantage to be able to communicate with this whole branch of people that's going to be a long time before they begin to speak English. But I was saying, I don't agree with any of it. Like I said yesterday about both parties historically. And for the thing, for me, voicing talking points, my talking points come from Thomas Sowell, from these economics that are impartial and view history unemotionally, for Anderson and these other people that look outside the box of victimhood, but look to the strength that we have internally inside of ourselves. Those, I mean, sure, they put them up in hotels. They're going to get money. They're going to get food. They're going to get, I mean, it is not like, it's saying, okay, now you sanctuary people that want this thing here, now you come help these people too. And help take some of the weight off the people at the southern border. That's all. And the fact is, fentanyl coming up and criminals are coming over. And it's part of a strategy. If you look at the Marxist playbook.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I'm not heartless.
But see, and I don't want to stay here too long. I want to actually get back to our topic we talked about yesterday, because if we continue, we're gonna stay here, and it's gonna be right at 9:30, and we hadn't got back to what we said we was gonna do today. So I really want to get back to our topic for yesterday. But before we do that, Cassandra, what's on your heart?
Nothing, Raheem, because this subject, you know, when I'm about people, and this subject right here, I don't care how do you twist this to make it. You can't. There's no way to twist this and make it right. No way. I don't care about anything. How do you make what they did right? And as far as I'm concerned, they committed a criminal act, and they should be tried for criminal behavior. Because that was human beings that you shipped like a bunch of animals. You shipped them like a bunch of animals, the way they did us, the way they treat everybody. What the hell?
Hey.
You don't make. I don't justify that. I'm sorry.
Okay, good deal. Rico, talk to me, brother.
I didn't justify it.
Rico, talk to me, brother.
Yeah, man. It's like I said, once again, it's inhumane, man. These are human beings we're talking about. You know, I pretty much said everything I need to say, but I just wish we get to a point as Black people where we stop trying to uphold and justify and reason these European systems. Economists and philosophers and all these different people that came up with these different systems that made this thing out of order the way it is. We trying to find a way to still make sure it runs smoothly. It ain't even meant to run smoothly for us. See, we caught in the middle of rich Republicans and rich Democrats playing volleyball on the beach.
That's right.
They're just playing volleyball, ping pong, and tennis in the Hamptons. We caught in the middle. Dark, melanated skinned people. Let me say it the way the way English is supposed to be used. Melanated skinned people talking about European or Western systems that was meant to not work in our favor. We want to make sure they succeed. We got to make sure that they uphold, you know what I'm saying, this and that and this and that. No, man, all that stuff messed up, man. We done got caught up in the technology. They got us. We can't even look at the humane side of it. But, you know, people say they believe in God and Jesus. But when it comes to politics, they just fold up Jesus, that little paper, they say, what would Jesus do? They just fold it up and put it in their pocket. Let's round up people like dogs and bust them off just to be funny, to teach her a lesson. That sounds like people that I know that got family members. They say, well, you know what? I ain't taking them kids in. Let them go to foster care so they can teach the mama a lesson. Maybe she'll stop doing drugs. But what about the kids?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What about those human beings? What about those vulnerable people over here that probably don't speak nobody's language, probably done been raped and screwed on the way over here? They get here and then they get rounded up like dogs to be somebody else's political gang.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah, this is the shot I'm gonna shoot at the Democrats. Let's round up some human beings and put them on a bus and dump them on that Chuck and Pearl gal's yard and let her deal with these human beings. Let's smuggle them. Let's do what other people get locked up for. Let's smuggle these illegal immigrants up there and drop them off. You know, we ain't got to worry about going to jail for it, though. We ain't got to do it, because this is a world of double standard, and we got people out there that's going to argue our talking points to make sure that the system stays in place so we can continue to do the things that we do on both sides.
Exactly.
From the rich Republicans and the rich Democrats. We need to get up. We need to wake up, man, completely. We need to wake up completely.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I agree with you 100%, man. We need to wake up. I definitely agree with that part of it. Before we move on to our topic, our main topic of the day, I'm going to go to Joseph. Joseph, what's on your heart, brother?
Yeah, man. Thank you, man. Rico's right on point. Maintaining the status quo. That's all it is. But then this also affords us an opportunity to really look at the history of immigration in this country. I mean, and some other things that has affected the non-WASP, white Anglo-Saxon Protestants, you know, who wants to maintain domination at all costs. They are against the Irish, against the Italian, against everyone, and they're going to make sure that they maintain control. I mean, you go back and look at the Homestead Act, when lands were given out west to all immigrants from Eastern Europe, some from Russia, and all over the place, as long as they were white. But the stipulation in the Homestead Act was you can't get the land if you had work in prior agriculture or domestic work. So that excluded black folks and probably the early Mexicans too. But that kept us from getting land out west, kept us from that part of reparation. You know, and then when you look at the history of immigration, you can see how warped it has been and always have been. It's nothing new, really. They're trying to maintain the status quo, Rico, just like you said.
Good deal. Good deal. Now, if nobody else have anything to say, I know you probably have something you want to say about this, but I really want to move on and transition to what we was here for today. See what's going to come. Go ahead, brother.
No, I heard something, and I don't like these conversations, especially when it says, well, they're getting free room and board, and what's the point? What's the point? When you treat people inhumane, and you say, well, they ain't nothing but a bunch of whores. Wait a minute. Does that give you the right to? And we can kick this can, but I just wonder why we try to justify mistreating people because of something. Especially if they were sent there against their will, then you kidnap them folks.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So what happens to kidnappers?
Folks go to jail, ain't it?
Even if you kidnap, that's human trafficking.
Human trafficking.
Exactly. That's what it is. How can you just automatically, and then somebody say, well, they ain't doing nothing but getting free this and free that. What's your point? So I'm just leave it right there. I guess we can talk about this some more.
Wow.
Can I speak for a second?
Yes, go ahead.
Let me clock out. But I was saying, again, for the record, it seems that there's a position that these poor people are being mistreated and they're not treated humanely. I'm saying this, that they are. it's a political trick. They are treated. They are still going to get food. They are going to get help, get assistance. But I was reacting against the kind of portrayal that was. But it's clear to me, words are going to be understood, and I'm not too healthy in all my ways, right, to deal with this. So I'm bowing out humbly here. I appreciate the experience of this podcast, but the bias and slanting is too much for me. So no offense to anyone, I appreciate the experience, and I pray you guys look at this game that's going on and look for fairness in it. That's all.
Okay. Give us some clarity from where you are, sir. What is it that you see?
Yeah, and it's not an attack. He bailed out. He said he's going to bail out right here. It's not an attack on him. I'm just saying that if you feed me and dog me out, don't feed me. If you got to mistreat me because you doing something for me, the hell with you.
Exactly. Well, again, there you have it. Curtis, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Hey, what's up, bro? What's going on, man? Y'all done made Mr. Hicks quit the show.
No.
What y'all doing?
No. We did not. We can't take that. Mr. Hicks chose on his own. He elected on his own that he wanted to take a paddle for a minute. And so, but the issue that we're talking about this morning is Curtis, you saw it. I'm sure you saw it. It was on the news last night. How Texas and Florida rounded up the immigrants, the people that they call immigrants, and shipped them to Boston.
That's wrong, man.
To Boston, and they shipped. And hold on, Kurt, let me finish your question, brother. They shipped them to Boston, and they shipped them another set them to Washington D.C. to Vice President Harris's front door. Curtis, what is right about that? How could anybody justify that?
You can't. You can't. And let's just stop with the lies. They come and they get free health care. They come and they do jobs that none of y'all Americans want to do.
Amen. Amen.
You think them doggone vegetables getting them? Man, don't get me started, Raheem. Have you we all like to go on vacation. Every single one of us like to go on vacation. Now, I just woke up. And y'all have got up under my skin already. Look, every single one of us like to go on vacation. Who you think making them beds, man? Okay? These dilapidated houses around here. Who you think repairing them houses, man? Because, let me keep it a buck. It's real easy for people to throw the rock and hide the hand nowadays. And the reason why that is because the public got their eyes closed. The public too busy looking down at their phone. The public too busy trying to look in the mirror of the phone so that they can take a selfie or so that they can enjoy looking at themselves, that they're not even paying no attention to what other folks is doing. So you gotta understand something. Those are the very same people that don't have a problem hiring those folks for lower to minimal to no wages. Those are the very same people that don't have a problem mistreating them folk.
Come on.
Right? And not giving them adequate things, but working them to death. Those very same folk that don't have a problem with the fact that when a person get their check, they spend almost 50% of their check in taxes prior to them even getting any money deposited in the bank. Come on, now.
Wow.
Come on. What you have is you have a party. Yes, right, I said it. You have a party who is out of touch with the people, and they're doing anything that they can to remain relevant and significant. That was wrong. That was wrong. And he should be charged. Only one to do human trafficking. Florida has a problem with that. Matthew Gates. Yo, come on.
Good deal. Good deal. Let's anybody else have anything to want to say on this topic before we move on? Because we really got to get to why we're here. Anybody got anything on the heart?
Yeah. You know, when Dr. King had his speech and said Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, he injected himself in that whole debate. And it'd be interesting to go back and listen to him again, because his word was so prophetic. He injected himself in that our whole argument about how people are treated in this country, how they are how we have a stratosphere. We have the certain group of people up here and others just below, others below that, and then some on the bottom. Even though the country says all are created equal. Even though the country says when we pledge allegiance, when we have our children pledge allegiance to the flag, liberty and justice for all. Those are myths. Even what is written on the base of the Statue of Liberty is mythical because of the way the policymakers dove out opportunities to people when we get here. And every American who is truly an American or who want to argue that point should be outraged at the way we do other countries and then get mad when those people come over here. You know, but I agree. This country needed slave labor when they brought our ancestors here, and they need cheap labor today in order to continue to make the money that they make. And rich folks gonna have it, and because they're the one that make the laws and the rules.
Yep.
Exactly. Exactly. Let me do this. I got to go to Navy. I see you today, sis. Navy, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning. How y'all doing?
Hey, doing good, doing good. Sis, we're talking about the situation that happened. We're talking about the situation that happened in Texas and in Florida, where they rounded up the people that they called immigrants and shipped them out to Boston, Martha's Vineyard, and Washington, D.C. to President Harris's front door. I'm trying to figure out, and I'm trying to get some understanding on how is that right? How is that the right thing to do? How is that just?
Well, Lord, I don't know how I missed that. Wow. That's wow. Who did that? Who decided to do that?
The governors of Florida and the governor of Texas.
The governor?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, governor.
These are the people. Now, we done seen some low down stuff that I think that that's pretty low down. That's top 3 easily for me, of low down things that government officials have done, because how inhumane are you to do something like that?
Exactly.
Because other than that was a complete ego move. Because how can you even you drop them off at President Harris's house for what? You ship them to Martha's Vineyard, which is one of the most expensive communities ever. For what? These people don't have the money to survive this. They don't have the resources to even be there. And you uproot them from what little stability that they did have to ship them hours away to prove a point. And I'm only assuming to gain political clout, to prove to your party or to people that may vote for you or what have you, that they're tough. They're tough on immigration, but are we not that far removed from quote unquote immigration ourselves? Like none of us really have. Wow, that's crazy. That's low. That's pitiful and maggot behavior. That is maggot behavior. That's pathetic. in my opinion.
Absolutely.
That's crazy.
Absolutely. Toya with a T, what's on your heart, sis?
Ain't that what they call the maggots? Oh no, my bad. It's MAGA. My bad.
Yeah.
My bad. So no, you know, I'm sorry. I'm just being silly. All right. So this is what I'm looking at, right? We need to pay attention to the art of war. At one point in time, this was how civilization built themselves. Okay. Then we switched from being so barbaric, trying to be more inhumane, and then we started to form alliances. Once we began to form alliances, now, you know, you're the toughest, you're the most powerful country in the land, not by brute force just yourself, but the alliances that America shares with so many other countries. And what they do, they went and bombed them, and then they turned around and assisted them with their needs. Oh, I'm gonna help you with this, I'm gonna help you with that, and then they steal more. So we need to pay attention to that art. And when we come across people like this, we need to form alliances. See, that's one of the tricky things about when the immigrants come. We might think, oh, yeah, you know, they got the hotel room, but I work with immigrants. The off the book kind. Not the one that got paper, because you got to have paper to get checks and to get food stamps. I walk with the off the book kind, but the kind that can't speak or no English. And what I've noticed is it'll be 6 of them in one apartment, want to be here, and they'll look out for the others as soon as they come off that boat. And they will house them, and one will take each independent responsibility on what needs to be taken care of. And before you know it, within a year, they got houses and cars. Mind you, still don't have no proper paperwork. And then when they start to build more alliances with people who accept them, which 9 times out of 10 are people from their race, they grow, and now you see them everywhere with houses and cars and clothes and kids. I even watched them march. Do you remember them march? It was millions of them. And what was that, 2008 or 9, somewhere back there? They was all in the streets everywhere. Millions of them. So let's stop acting like Black people don't know what that feels like. Let's stop acting like we haven't been here before and not be inhumane towards those who are doing simply the way we did when we came out of slavery, trying to do better for ourselves, trying to make sure, you know what I'm saying? How would it be if we got out of slavery and they put us on a bus and say, yeah, we're going to send you over here, and you get there and it's nothing? So we need to think about these things and practice on how do America do it? By forming alliances? Well, we the people need to form alliances too, because the government is not going to do it.
Exactly. Badger, what's on your heart? And then we're gonna move on to our topic of the day.
Decided to hop online and figure out exactly what the numbers and stuff were. The Texas Governor Abbott has sent about 10,000 immigrants total to date. And the most recent was 75 to 100 to the Naval Observatory. And apparently the governor of Florida is the one behind the planes that went to, what was the name of that place?
Martha's Vineyard?
Yeah, the Vineyard.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all saying it's a part of their relocation bills and plans or whatever.
Relocation bill, wow. Wow.
Dubbed Operation, okay. So Abbott's office says it transported at least 10,000 immigrants, self-proclaimed sanctuary cities run by Democrats. Texas has spent about $12 million to find rides. The trips were dubbed under the umbrella of his more than $4 million border security initiative dubbed Operation Lone Star, intended to curb border crossings.
Wow.
Silver tongues, what fun.
Exactly.
And I get to live in this state.
Bless your heart.
Now.
Bless your heart. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Give us a call. We'd love to have your input. Good morning, Marshall. I see you over there, brother. I'm glad you joined us this morning. Good to have you. 508-924-3521. We're going to get to our topic of the day, what we said was going to continue from yesterday, but I had to tackle that. When I saw that, it didn't sit well with me. It really didn't sit well with me at all. And I said, we had to talk about that. I didn't know we was going to talk about it as long as we did, but but wrong is wrong. And I can't see any right in that. I can't see any right in it. Captain, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning again?
I'm doing fine. Thank you.
Captain, we going to transition back over to the topic that we talked about yesterday and asking the question, why do the world dislike the black people so much? Why does the world, United States, America, the world dislike black people so much? What did you say to that?
Well, I think we covered all that yesterday. I can't say no more than what I said yesterday. Everybody made a very good point. You know, we can't put the world, you know, I can't say, when you say the world, you know, that's every group and ethnic people on this planet. And I don't think the world hates black people. We've already, you know, ran it down to maybe America. But I just believe, Raheem, that the topic is not why the world hates us. I think why the world who has a problem, or why do people who have a problem with black people, what is their problem, period?
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't think they have a disregard. And of course, when we say that, everybody knows that the majority of the people who come to your mind is Caucasian people. When you talk about America, you automatically, we're not saying that, but that's what everybody's thinking. I feel sorry. I guess maybe, Raheem, I'm a little different. I really feel sorry because it is not the mindset of those who have a problem with us. It's the mindset that they have a problem with themselves. I mean, anytime that you got a problem, I don't care with a human being based upon their color, or based upon their gender, based upon their social status, that person have a problem with themselves.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to ask the question why. I just want to understand.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I want to understand that kind of mindset. Please, you know, and as we said, why we got to talk about, get them and ask them that question.
Mm-hmm.
That's about, I'd like to see the audience and ask them, you know, why do people, majority, I ain't gonna say majority, why do a lot of Caucasian people have issues with
Mm-hmm.
dark people, Hispanics, blacks, and Native Americans? I mean, what is it with your folks? Now, that may not be their mindset. That individual we talking to, that white individual, they may not have that mindset.
Mm-hmm.
But it's that there is some Caucasian people. I'm not going to say all. I'm not even going to say the majority. And it could be the majority. But I just think they need to address that among themselves. They got issues.
Mm-hmm.
We got issues. We got to address. They got issues. Because you know what, Brother Raheem? That mindset would not exist in the kingdom of God.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Exactly.
telling you,
Exactly.
that mindset, whether it comes from self-hatred with us or whether it comes from white supremacy with them, it will not be accepted in the kingdom of God. Both of them going to die. Black inferiority going to die, and white superiority going to die. They're not going to make it.
Mm-hmm.
If you can't see people as human beings, I feel sorry for you.
Absolutely.
You're not going to make it.
Absolutely.
Again, I'm going to say this and I'm going to end. Treat people the way you want to be treated. The Honorable Minister Parker said, that's the best religion. That's all I got to say with that, right?
Good deal. Good deal. Cassandra, what do you say? What do you say to the question? Why do you think the world have an issue or don't like black people?
You know, I'm totally with Cap on this one because it's something wrong with you. If I've never done anything to you,
Mm-hmm.
Never. And you just hate me because of just what Cap said, the color of my skin, my gender, whatever, my sexuality, my socioeconomic position. You just hate me because of that?
Mm-hmm.
Then he's right. There is something wrong with you. I don't need to be trying to figure out what's wrong with you. You need to be trying to figure out what's wrong with you. Your people need to come together and figure out, okay, why do we feel this way about certain groups of people? And then what really, and I'm trying real hard, what really upsets me is that these people that hold these views call themselves Christians. Just like Cap said, I'm with Cap all the way in this one. Just like they're the first ones to say how much they love God. And the Bible says, how can you say that you love God whom you've never seen and hate the people, hate your brother that you see every day? How does that work for you?
Wow.
I'm done.
Exactly. Tucson, talk to me, brother. Tucson, you there?
Okay. I'm double tasking there, right? Okay, I got you.
Okay.
All right. I know. I'm back. I don't want to bail out of this conversation. Some conversations I don't like to get into. But I'm just why and I don't discredit people for feeling the way that they do. But for the life of me, how can you justify in any kind of way or get upset? And I'm just saying what I'm saying because I'm saying what I'm saying.
Say it.
You clearly it's illegal. You mistreat people. And when somebody says, well, that shouldn't be done, or you shouldn't do that, and you say, well, they ain't got no business here, they need to go back to their own country. What country are you talking about? Especially when if you know the process of them getting here in the first place, and you had a hand in it. You know what? Cap, I tried my best to put cussing behind me. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay, cool beans. Nate, Navy, what's on your heart, sis?
As far as the question and the topic,
yes. Why does the world dislike or have a ill feeling towards Black people?
That's a $1 million question with a $2 million answer that I don't know if we'll ever get the answer to unless we have these conversations with the people that have the issue with us. Which, by the way, I decided to pose the question to my interns, who are diverse group of people, but I'll let y'all know the results of that next week. But for me, I was looking up this term yesterday whenever I was listening in because it reminded me of something. So there's a Freudian concept called penis envy. And it sounds, just give me a second because it doesn't sound the way that it is. It's basically whenever kids are in the exploring stage and little girls find out that, hey, he has something that I don't. I want that. Because why don't I have that? And that's the way that in a way, that's kind of how I think about the world with their views, and they're very, it's a very like muddy view that they have of us as Black people. And then I know that I'm pretty sure Rico had probably already mentioned the psychological programming, because you got to think about how people have put us as Black people from the beginning, how they have tried to paint this picture of us being savages, barbaric, murderers, a lot of the same rhetoric that we use today when we want to talk about immigration and stuff coming over here. But that's besides the point. I think that there is an envy of you have something and I don't understand why you have it and I don't. So i.e. penis envy. And I mean, when you think about it, Africa and Black people were the greatest ghost riders in the history of the world. You think
Mhm.
about all the resources that the world benefits from one country. Think
Mhm.
about how bland, and I don't mean any disrespect when I say that. You look at Black culture and how that is being commercialized now. You hate us
Mhm.
or you dislike us, but the very thing of your existence you try to emulate
Mm.
from us.
Mhm.
So
Wow.
penis envy is my answer.
Okay, very interesting answer, sister. Very interesting answer. Let me go to Curtis. Curtis, what's on your heart?
I don't even know what to say because I've been kind of processing this thing for a while. You know what I mean? And this stuff got to the point where sometimes, man, I have to drop tears, man,
Mhm.
because it is shameful. It is shameful that you have the situations that you have going on, and people are so ignorant to what's going on. Like it's shameful.
Mhm.
What we seeing right now is shame. It is disgraceful. But I'm reminded of every major institution or governmental institution in history. When the rich of that particular institution stuck their power and their privilege, we've seen this unfold.
Mhm.
We saw it in the Romans, we've seen it in the Russians, we've seen it in the French, we've seen it in the what we used to call Czechoslovakians. We've seen it repeatedly over and over again. What we have not seen, and why I think things like this could be happening, is because we are at a precipice of black accomplishment,
Mhm.
and those very same folk are beginning to not stay at home, or as Lord Ingram would say, they're beginning to not just dribble.
Mhm. Wow. Wow. Mhm. 508.
Fear.
Go ahead, Curtis.
No, go on, get a number.
Okay. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Give us a call. We definitely love your input. Asking a question today. Very simple yet complicated question. Why do the world, America and the world, have a dislike towards black people? What did we do to merit this dislike or this thing against us? We're gonna go on this right here. We're gonna go Badger, Rico, and then Joseph. Badger, what's on your heart?
All right. Psychology. I made some of these comments yesterday. Me being white skinned, and as some people can say, I can blend in and all that stuff. And I shared how, being told that being poor and white is worse than being black. And then having that mentality shoved in my face constantly. Then you start seeing the news. Almost every criminal that gets put on the news is a black person most of the time, if not all the time. So let's push that narrative even more to make sure that these white folks understand, continue to have this hatred and envy and all this stuff. And then when they do put certain things on the news, it's about how good of rappers they are, or basketball players, football players, and all these other kind of narratives. So in some ways, I honestly feel, and with my experience I've had being on the other side of the fence, the Navy has a lot of traction with her statement. When I don't know how many times I've heard the comment from white women of saying that, well, I don't date white men because they're not big enough, or some other thing. And so you have a narrative that gets pushed onto not all white kids, but a majority that I've come across that are around my age, especially, of we are less than. And then we see all these things on the news. We see we get denied access to a lot of things. And then we turn around and see someone of a different race and hear them talking about them having access or getting a grant to college and stuff, while we're sitting here trying to get approved for one in general.
Mm-hmm.
So there is a lot of temperament on this topic on the other side of the fence, due to the misdirections and illusions that are put out there. I'm probably one out of I don't know, I'd say 500 to 1,000 that figured out that it was nonsense and it wasn't the truth.
Mm-hmm.
So if you take those numbers, compare us to the rest of the population that are still under the influence and brainwashed by those kinds of thoughts, it goes beyond just trying to change the people in power. You're also fighting a psychological battle, a spiritual battle.
Mm-hmm.
I've told you the experience. I mean, I literally live 20 minutes from one of those cult churches.
Mm-hmm.
Like, man, when y'all ask why, I have so much on my mind and so much I want to say and share, because the experiences I've unfortunately had to experience being on the other side of the fence.
Mm-hmm.
Half the time, there's some people I don't know how to help because they're so brainwashed. They honestly don't know any better.
Wow.
And I fight and deal with it, and I'm very much an activist every single day.
Good deal. Good deal. Let me keep this thing going. Let me go. Rico, what's on your heart, brother? Talk to me. Joseph, you up next.
It's
10 Pete.
It's simple. I mentioned it yesterday, and Navy came in and just took everything out of my mind that I wanted to say, man. But I wasn't gonna say penis at first, but I was definitely going back to envy and jealousy.
Mm-hmm.
See, this thing is rooted in mental and behavioral science. Now, with the mental part of it, most times when people lack something like physical and natural gifts and talents like what we have,
mm-hmm.
and they just can't do it, they start envying that. Because, like, you ever seen them watch us when we dance, and then they try to pick up the steps?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, baby, it's blessing. For some reason, they just can't get that coordination down. But some people envy that. Ooh, I wish I could dance like Michael Jackson and MC Hammer.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I could dance like those black guys. Ooh, look, I seen a movie one time when somebody was talking about Jackie Robinson. Ooh, look at that nigga fast.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Look at Jackson Woman. Man, look, we naturally and physically gifted and talented. Naturally.
Mm-hmm.
And so the original people,
Rico, let me
they
jump.
got that.
Let me stop. I'll stop. You got a minute and 55 seconds left. I'm gonna stop your time right there. But there was a long time, Enrico, and I know you love sports. Namely, I know you love football. There was a long time where they had a narrative that we athletically we were very good at sports, but mentally we could not be quarterbacks because we didn't have the mental capability of being a quarterback. and that was shot out. And then look at the NFL now. But you know, I just want to throw that in as well, because a lot of times they try to throw
Well,
some.
it's bigger than that. It's bigger than that.
Mhm.
I mean, look at how we dance.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just so many. I mean, it's more than athletic. Look at the sciences and the maths from Timbuktu.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the teaching people of hygiene, how to bathe, how to put on deodorant, brushing the teeth, not sleeping with dogs and kissing them in the mouth. Y'all see that video I sent y'all? That woman kissed that dog in the mouth with that braid game. Wasn't even her dog.
Good Lord.
But see, we naturally, you know, that's a whole nother topic though. But see, we naturally, physically gifted and talented. So when you envy somebody, sometimes when you just can't have what they have, but you envy it so much to the point you get jealous, you'll vilify them. That's the mental thing. You know what I'm saying? That might be part of the sin. But that's a negative thing that happens when you envy somebody and you can appreciate it because you can't do it. And for some reason, you just can't get right.
Yeah.
No matter how much you try to do the cha-cha slide. Man, my homeboy, he recorded some people at the UAB a couple of weeks ago trying to do the cha-cha slide. Oh, my goodness.
It's a terrible, bro. Terrible.
They were trying to look and learn at the same time. And the ones that thought they knew what they were doing, they looked just like the ones that go out somewhere and try to twerk. It's terrible. But see, the thing is they still envy that. Or they still try. They want to do it so bad, so it's simple things. But then what happens is those original people, they finally get so fed up because I just can't do what they do. See, this ain't even got to be a race thing. People do this, period. They start hating people that they really envy because these people just have an it factor about them, just some natural gifts and qualities about them that they just don't have. And we can't figure it out.
Yeah.
But I'm tired of all the attention that they get, and I'm tired of all the respect and acknowledgement that they get. I just want a little bit of that attention along with a little bit of that rhythm. So you know what they did when they harm black people? That envy. Man, they even bought it up. They used to cut off men's penises. You know what they did with Sarah Bartman? They exploited her because of her behind, her buttocks, her bill. But at the same time, they was taking advantage of her sexually too because they loved it secretly. The same people that used to sit back and bash black women about their butts. Now white women finally realized they were lying. They did like them big butts. They did like them. But see, that's what happens. It starts off mentally from that negative thing called envy and jealousy, and then it turns into tradition.
Good deal.
So now you have this tradition that promotes propaganda and puts out all these narratives that Badger was speaking of that sort of supports that tradition to maintain that thought process that we need to make sure we stay on top of these people, because if we don't, they're going to always continue to find ways to surpass us because they have some type of culture or natural ability about them to just overcome and to learn and to create and to invent.
Hold right there, Rico. Got to keep it moving, brother. Man, putting so much stuff out there, man. I'm loving this conversation. I'm glad we was able to get here from what we talked about earlier this morning. But let me go right now to I say Joseph is up next, and after Joseph is going to be Pete. Joseph, what's on your heart, brother? Talk to me.
All right, sir. Brother Badger hit the nail on the head again when he talked about as him having white skin and you know how poor whites somehow have the worst part of the deal. But, you know, it's important for us to go back and look at the Bacon Rebellion, Nathaniel Bacon, the Bacon Rebellion of 1676, when whites and blacks, and poor indentured servants got together and rose up against the colonial government. And even though they were fighting to get more of the Native American land, they united against the power structure. And after they put down that rebellion, the white wealthy people said, okay, we got to do something to make the white person feel a little bit better than black folks. So in addition to giving them some land and stuff like that to set them above us, that embeds itself into this system to this day. I would love to see the teachers in classroom have that discussion with the young students, white and black and all different students, so that they can show the roots of this racism and this hatred. But Dr. King went against that particular
that particular issue right there when he tried to unite poor people of all colors together. I don't know if y'all remember that. The Poor People's Campaign. That's what that was about. Dr. King was very perceptive. He understood history. And he upset the status quo when he did that. He made the wealthy people very uncomfortable because they don't ever want whites, poor whites, and black folks and others, as our sister said, make alliances. Because when we make these alliances, that's a voting block. And when we understand our unique issues, which all of us are affected, you know, I mean, this system, this current system discriminates against many people, not just black folks.
Yeah.
There are many white folks who are not doing as good as they could because of the status quo.
Yeah.
But they don't know it. They're ignorant. So it'll be good to have that discussion. I'm glad Brother Badger brought that up because that allows us to delve deeper into the psychology of this thing, as he said, you know, because it is psychological. But this is why they hate us, because they have much to apologize to us for, and they know that after the apology comes restitution. So it's not hate, it's fear. We can love them because we ain't got nothing to lose.
Absolutely.
But guess what? Guess what? If they loved us the way Jesus said, they'd have to leave their gift at the altar and go make it right with their brothers and sisters, which is reparation.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So they got a lot to lose, and that's fear. And it's not just hate, it's fear. And we need to call it for what it is. And I tell any bigot, any wealthy racist, poor racist, the same thing.
Exactly. That's good.
All right.
That's good. 508-924-3521, 508-924-3521. I would love to have some of our Caucasian brothers and sisters to call in today and be a part of this conversation. I don't know if you will. I don't know, you know, what's holding you back from doing so. But I definitely would love to have your input on why does so many people have a dislike or disdain towards black people or people of color? Pete, what's on your heart, brother? Good morning. How you doing this morning?
How we doing this morning, family? DKM Radio, Morning Glow, panelists, audience. Hope everybody's doing well. And if you're listening in radio land, call in. You're not going to be assaulted. If you have an adverse position, you will be entertained and considered, and you have the freedom to express yourself. I don't want to say I know why, because I don't know why people think and do what they do. But I'm gonna frame this about this country right fast, if you indulge me and take my time and get out the way.
Yes, sir.
America, a country formed with liberty to lie, steal, and kill. Freedom of injustice constituted by a few's will. Land and lives, destruction of many hopes and dreams, while equality for all the recited things. Coppertone natives greeting pale-faced pilgrims, preaching and praying that Jesus authorized do we how and get them. We the chosen found and cultivate a new land, one in which present occupants currently stand. We kidnap, torture, and supervise a type of free labor, one in which we will compensate through a new slave law saver. Self-righteous wickedness, double-standard norm as territories to states take form. Corporate corruption, few wanting all things. Free labor, much wealth brings. Treaty making before ink dries, breaking possessors of forked tongue, devise new schemes of evil trails of tears, blanket runs, stolen societal secrets, Mason masters have begun, black suit meeting, Jekyll House of reserves, class established and preserved, blood-filled soil, world at war, so many gave so much, knowing not what for, racist religion, thanks we get and celebrating our independent hella days, saluting no liberty as she weighs, 400-year path on a self-destructive run, crashing into change or complete destruction. A picture being worth 1,000 words, they revisit the many wisdom words and the counsel and admonition as you secure your reward. Remember the chances given, no mercy shown as none was given. Welcome to the reality that we've been living.
That's good. That's good, brother. That's good.
Powerful.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Anybody have any comment? As a matter of fact, let me keep my rotation going. Pete, you want to say something else, man? I don't know what you're gonna say after that there, brother, but you want to say something else?
I'm gonna reiterate what I said yesterday. These are the effects when you desire to dominate, when you desire to put yourself in position above others. to take things that are just naturally through the formation of creation designated to be owned by them, and you desire to own it yourself. You are going to put in all of this things, this systematic, I can't say it the way I want to say it, system, right? And these are the effects of when you desire to dominate, when you desire to own, to have more, to be over, to be on top. This is the effect. Our elder brother gave us the concept of how they divided the common people along the line. They had commonality, so they fought together along the lines of their commonality, and that was a problem for elite elected few. It threatened their positioning. So then they put in an adjustment to their systematic function to further divide the common, create a illusionist narrative out of nothing to maintain their positioning, their power, their ability to build wealth, their privilege, their easiness in life on the backs of all the other folk that were fighting to get some more adjustments to themselves. This is the reality. This is what the picture is. When you desire to dominate, when you desire to dominate a people, this is the effect. This is what you see. All of this mess, your intellectual ability to think and then take that thought and turn it into an action and actually create something that's worth something, and they desire to own it, to take it to another level, to suck up all the wealth that can come from that. All the entertainment being sucked up by what companies? A handful of companies, a handful of producers. They're the ones making the money on the backs of those creative, talented individuals that can sing and write and come up with sound and words, ways of entertaining you, right? They want to suck up all of that to put it in a corralling in their control so they can make all the money off of you. This is what they do. It's domination.
Wow.
Is what it is. It's domination. It's
Wow.
straight up. I'm just going to dump. Look, come here, sit down, shut up, move over, do what I say. I'm on top and you on the bottom. I'm the best. You less. And look, that's what is domination.
Good deal.
Now,
Good deal.
again, at what point are we going to be done with accepting domination?
Let me. I'm gonna read something that was said in one of the posts here, and then I'm gonna go to Toya with a Tika. I think she has to take off for the day. And then we got Willow with us as well, so I definitely want to come to her. But I'm gonna read. This is something that Paul said in the chat box to the side here, and we want to comment on this. He said, "Could the dislike of blacks have something to do with the idea that some black people think they are innately superior, much as we have heard on this very talk show?" Toya. Toy, you there? Let me go to Cap. Cap, what's on your heart, brother?
Read that again, Paul. Read that again.
Yes. Okay. He said, could the dislike of blacks have something to do with the idea that some black people think they are innately superior, much as we have heard on this very talk show?
I don't know what he's talking about. Much he's heard on this talk show that we think we innate superior. I don't know where he got that from. But the Holy Quran says the one that's most favorable in the eyesight of God is he or she who's mindful of their duty to him. Color do not make you superior. I think that's something that white racists always try to push on the world, that their color makes them superior. Now, black people don't believe they're superior because of their color. No, I don't believe that. But I do believe that we cannot judge people's superiority based on their color. I think superiority has to be based upon your righteousness. Are you striving to be a righteous person? I think that's the most honorable way to be. If your actions is not righteous, if your actions is evil and wicked, how can you be superior? You're superior in your wickedness. And that don't have to be just white people. You got black people, but black people don't suffer from superiority. Black people suffer from inferiority. white people suffer from superiority. So we got to bring one down and we got to bring one up. We both is sick. We both, it ain't innate, but you can't take away the nature of a human being. When you take the nature of the darker people of the planet, no matter where you go, if you never stepped out of America and went to the diaspora and the continent of Africa, the population of dark people on this planet is 4,400,000,000. The population of Caucasian people is 103 million. So when you take a look at the population, on the planet, you begin to see the whites are really the minority. The darker people are the majority. I'm not talking about just the diaspora. Look at Brazil. Look at the population of Brazil. We ain't just talking about the diaspora. So when you take a look at the darker people on the planet, they are the majority. And when you take a look at the Caucasian man, he's really the minority. Now, why? I didn't produce the dynamics. I didn't produce the demographics. But evidently, we was here before them. It's because we was first. Do that make us superior? At first, no. But if your actions is unrighteousness, then your being first don't mean jack. All right?
Exactly.
I don't want us to get into the color game. People play into the color game. Paul, you got to understand, it ain't nothing to do with the color game. Listen to black people, man. We're not trying to come off, we all dead in the bag of chips. But I got to see this thing going on Facebook, where there's a guy that said, listen, you know, when you want to call us savage, we're not savages. We have been victims of savages. And that's the truth. White people said how they say it. So I think when we start talking about color, you know, color don't make you righteous. Black don't make you righteous. White don't make you righteous. It has nothing to do. When my brother talked about dominance, she said dominance, dominating. But we using that word called oppression. What's the difference? Oppression is dominating somebody. Oppression is being ruled over somebody. Oppression is holding somebody back. Yeah. People that oppress dominate. People that dominate oppress. It's one and the same.
Good
we
deal.
have been oppressed people been dominated by an oppressor. We've been oppressed people dominated by an oppressor.
Good deal. Good deal. Absolutely, man. We got it's a lot going on with this particular topic right here. I want to go back. I want to go to our tour. You with the team? I'm trying to catch you before you leave. Sis. Are you back with us? Okay, Bishop, talk to me. Bishop, good morning. How you doing this morning? Bishop,
Hey, I'm great this morning, man. Appreciate it. Hope everything's going well with you and everyone else.
hey, going good. We're asking the question. We continue with the conversation we had yesterday. And we're asking the question, why does United States, America, the world, if you will, have a dislike towards black people? And I don't know if you want to comment on the what Paul just said, Public Citizen just said in his comment. I don't know if you want to comment on that, but you have the floor, brother. What's on your heart?
Well, I'll tell you, I appreciate the platform and the topic of conversations that come up. And, you know, hearing Badger earlier, he was talking about misconception that some people have, and then even with his experience, we applaud Badger for, you know, calling into the show as much as he does, and how he tries to relate to the problems that we face or the problems that blacks face. And yes, he is an Indian, and yet white, his color causes such and such. And he deals with the level of racism or level of hatred because of his mixture. We would deal with the level of hatred because of our ethnicity. It's something that has been created by, you know, Jim Crow and the slave masters that propagate or put this kind of statement out there to the world to make them look at us as though we're nothing or nobody, that we're animals, that we're cannibalistic, that we are murderers, or that we're rapists, and we're not the ones who, you know, do all this stuff that, you know, that's being done. Everything that's being done in the world, black folks learned because white folks were doing it. I was reading and studying that you know, when Leif Erikson came to the world in the 1400s. I mean, well before Christopher Columbus folks ever discovering America in the 1400s. They came in and took over
they captured us. They captured blacks from their native Africa or some of the islands and brought them here and made them servants. They sold us as property. And their hatred towards us is because we were created, we were made free. But in all respects, we are all created equal. Out of one blood, God created all nations men to dwell on the face of the earth. Acts 17 and 26. So this black is superior or this white is superior. I know for a fact they're not. If there are any blacks that think that they're superior, then bless their heart. But more whites think they're entitled. More whites think they're superior. If you go into a mall, everybody, the clerks in the mall gonna follow the black folks. White folks in there stealing everything, put them in the baby carriage, stick them up under the clothes. Black folks, they're under scrutiny for everything. Every doggone thing that we do, we criticize. And the sad part about it, there are a bunch of blacks that gravitate to that mindset, and they start looking at it the same way because of what's been put out there, because something that they heard or something that they believe, because they believe whatever the white man says is right. Oh, Mr. So-and-so said it. Well, I don't care if Greg said, he ain't nobody. But Mr. So-and-so said that Mr. So-and-so was wrong. So, this is a topic, man, that somebody talked about the king and this struggle, and then they talked about, so many different, things that are taking place. Black folks got it hard. I don't care what nobody say. And we don't still have it hard.
Exactly.
And we're going to have it hard no matter where we go. And I said yesterday about when I was in the Philippines, a Japanese guy talked about the reason they dislike black, don't trust black, because what they heard from a white man. They not one time said, when the black man said this about the white man, so we hate the white man. But I guarantee you, there's more hatred and fear from a white towards the black than there is a black toward a white.
Absolutely, absolutely. Willow, good morning. How you doing this morning? We're going in this direction right here. Let me see. We're going Willa, we're going Willow, Rico, Donald, and then Cassandra. Willow, what's on your heart?
Am I after Cassandra?
Good morning.
Yes.
Raheem.
Good morning. How you doing?
Morning.
Good morning, young lady. How you doing this morning?
You know what? I am doing fine, Raheem. Praise the Lord. I thank you for waking me up this morning.
Absolutely.
I was thinking about the conversation. You had me thinking about this conversation all day yesterday. I just want you to know that.
Praise God. That's good.
So in 3 minutes, I'm going to try to put it out there that two wrongs don't make a right. In the 60s, I went to, I know I shared this with you guys. I went to a predominantly white school because we were bused to the school. Long story short, when we got there, the mothers and fathers of the kids that were going to the school were throwing eggs at us as we got off the bus. So as a child, I didn't really understand why would these parents do that and throw eggs at children. I didn't understand that. I can't answer why they did that. So as I got older, I learned about certain things of culture, should I say. And then I wanted to go to my school when I got to 8th grade. When I say my school, I wanted to go to a predominantly black school because I told my parents that I wanted to graduate with my culture, and they sent me to 8th grade, and I went to a school called Emmett. Long story short, when I got there, I experienced some of the same hatred that I experienced going to the white school. And I'm going to tell you why. Because when I went to law, the education system was totally different. My words wasn't as slanted. I was able to read real well and not talk like them. So I was looked at as different. And so people that looked like me didn't like me. I had a real hard time in the beginning because they didn't like me for whatever reason it was. You understand what I'm saying? So I got an experience of the same hatred and not knowing why. But then as I got older, I knew why. Last but not least, two last things. The Bible tells us that we wrestle not against flesh and blood. That means that we don't fight against each other. But the darkness and the spirit that's in this world, that's why I can understand what Badger was saying when he was saying it was a psychological mental thing. I do understand that. But I also want to say this from my own personal experience. I work at a nacho stand at the ballpark, and I'm I come encounter with a lot of people. When I tell you 20, 30,000 people, I do. Some of them just about nachos.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to tell you this, and I've got to be honest right here. When our culture come up there, this is what I get. Not most of them. How much the nacho? Can I get some free cheese? This is constantly.
Mm-hmm.
Reading is fundamental. The sign is right there. This is what I get from our culture. Some of the white people do it, but not as many as our black. It gives me such a hard time. So I'm gonna be honest. So when I see my culture come up there, this is my mindset. Here we go again. Even though some of them may not be the way that the other one did it, that's my mindset. You see where I'm coming from? From a short standpoint, they're giving me a hard time. They want something free all the time. And this is what I'm saying as a black person, how I look at my own culture. So I can't answer for why America treat us the way they do. I can only answer about me.
Okay. Good deal.
That was on my heart.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Rico, talk to me, brother.
Man, I love what you said, man, because, you know, sometimes people feel like we shouldn't air out our grievances or our flaws in public like this. You know what I'm saying? But that's one thing I know about us. The truth is the truth, and we're going to hold ourselves accountable. If you don't hold yourself accountable and keep it real regardless of who's looking, then that means you're going to sort of enable a certain behavior. And that's something I noticed about white people. It's hard for them to just sit back and say, yeah, you know what? That is what I hate about us.
Mm-hmm.
They'll go back and say, well, maybe this is real. Or maybe is it because of this? Well, y'all do this. Y'all, you know, this is what I realized, man. When you are young, or when you talk to a young person and you see that they might be jealous or envious of somebody, you're like, why are you jealous of them all? Because they got all the toys or they got all the shoes that I can't have or that I don't have. You find out that's why a young person hates them, and then you have to let them know, well, look, just because they have them shoes, or just because they have that PS5, or just because they can run faster than you, doesn't mean they're better than you or they're superior to you.
Mm-hmm.
But I think white people take it that way. Because I done heard people say that. I've heard people look at people that had charisma and that it factor and say, he think he all that. She thinks she all that. I think to myself, well, just because they're doing something you can't do don't mean they think they all that. But that lets me know then that that envious person that is disliking what this quality that this person has that they don't have, they feel like that person is superior to them.
Mm-hmm.
No, they might just be better at you than that.
Yeah, yeah.
But exactly. If you see enough of, man, I sure wish I didn't have to go to get in a tanning bed every week. Ooh, I sure love your skin. Your skin is so beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I get. Oh, man, how you do that dance right there, man? I don't see how you people dance so good. And that's why we celebrate the ones that can dance and have rhythm. I mean, look, it's simple, man. It's really basic, simple human nature and behavior. Envy and fear. You create this atmosphere where you say, well, okay, not only are we going to create, or do we envy these people, we're going to create a tradition to vilify them so we can justify this hatred.
Mm-hmm.
So now this is what we're going to do. We're going to tell them that we're going to give them some benefits and not give them to you and tell you that we gave them to them because they're black.
Mm.
And they're going to take away your rights. So you say you want to have a union, or you might want to second guess that union. Those guys are going to start making the same money you make and moving to your neighborhoods, and they're going to be putting that penis in your daughters.
Mm.
You don't want them to get the education that your children are getting, you know what I'm saying? So they start creating that fear too. But it all comes from envy, and it all comes from the fact that they want to. It ain't even just the fact that they want to try to be better. They do want to be superior because they I think to a certain extent they take when people are better than them as being superior to them.
Mm-hmm.
That's why men and some people size other men up so much, and people size other people up so much, and they compete and they compare themselves because they feel like if they come in contact with somebody else that's just as good or better at something than them, they feel some type of way.
Yep.
Black men do it amongst each other.
30 seconds. Mm-hmm.
So when you think about just how human beings are, when they want to be the head honcho, or when they do lack a certain qualities that other people have, and it's an abundance of lack, abundance of rhythm that they lack, an abundance of melanin that they lack, and so many other different things, natural qualities.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't about us being superior, but we do have natural gifts that y'all don't have. We got melanin. We can dance on a regular basis. On average, you're gonna see most of us not have a problem getting some rhythm.
Mm-hmm.
And then on average, you're gonna see most of them about to break their neck trying to get some rhythm.
Good deal. Let's keep this thing going,
that
man.
Ain't superior. That's not superior. That's not racist. That's just science.
Good deal. Good deal. Who I got next? I got no. I got Donald next, then Cassandra, then Badger. Two songs. What's on your heart, brother?
Oh
Lord.
You know, they creative, they run fast, they jump high. They some of them they can sit out in the sun.
Oh Lord.
I'm sorry, wait a minute. Give me a minute.
When we come back to you, brother.
And to add to insult, if you what really ticks me, I can't understand it, but what to really add to insult seemingly to these people that they think they're superior. Did you see him when he pulled his pants down? I mean, I don't understand. Well, I do understand the comment that was made. It is what it is, man. But I've sit in a startup meeting and I'm giving instructions in the morning, and all of a sudden I hear somebody, an employee, says to me, "And you're not qualified for this job."
Mm.
But when they came to investigate me, because you called, I asked the investigator when he came. I said, "What side of the warehouse you parked on?" He says, "Oh, I parked on the west side." I said, "Did you see that guy out there?" Actually, it was the guy that did the calling.
Mm-hmm.
He said, "Yeah, I seen it. I wanted to ask you about that." I said, "What was he doing?" He said, "It looked like he was sweeping rocks."
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what he's doing. Now, I didn't ask him to sweep rocks. He's going to do what I asked him to do, but to show me up. And at the same time, in his mind, make himself look productive. He out there sweeping rocks.
Mm.
Now, if I would have told him to sweep rocks, what kind of call you think I would have got? See, people have a tendency to put you out there and at the same time show you who they really are.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You don't have to. We don't see what happens is you don't have to put people out there. They do it to themselves.
Absolutely.
Just give them enough time. Just give them enough time.
Mm-hmm.
I joke and clown, but sometimes there's time for everything.
Mm-hmm.
But this is not funny.
No.
Your feelings hurt? You mean to tell me your feelings hurt? Ain't that something?
Wow. Let's keep this thing going.
Ain't that something?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Cassandra, Badger, and then we're gonna go to Paul. Cassandra?
Yeah, I was thinking about, it doesn't matter what level you may try to get to. And this isn't every company, or I'm not saying this across the board, but it seems like if you have somebody that hates you, right?
Mm-hmm.
They don't know why they hate you, but if you have somebody that hates you, This is why hatred is such a big issue, especially when it comes to white people hating us. If you have somebody that is your supervisor and they just don't like black people, how far you think you're going to get? How far do you think you're going to get on that ladder if you have people that hate you or don't like you just because of the color of your skin? Ain't got nothing to do with your work ethics, ain't got nothing to do with nothing except the fact that I don't like black people. And guess what? We have endured that from the very beginning, being held back. And people had a problem with affirmative action. You know why they didn't have a problem with affirmative action? Because they didn't have a problem all those years when they would not promote black people or give them jobs in certain companies strictly because of the color of their skin, not because of their education, not because nothing else except they were black. So we have a reason to be distrustful in a lot of situations of white people and suspect. Yes, they come under they're suspect in a lot of different areas sometimes for me, because I've seen it throughout my little 60. I've only been at 63 years, but I've seen it over and over again, especially in corporate America.
Absolutely. Across the board when it comes to that. You're absolutely right. Badger, what's on your heart? Paul, coming to you next. Then after that, we're going to Pete.
So, as we were talking, I was doing a little bit more research and remembering some more things. And I was remembering some comments I got from some of the churchgoers around here. Especially a pastor that came and sat in front on my front porch to try to talk me into going to his church. Where he said he was a born-again Christian, yet it was all right to have slaves. And I was like, where does it say that? He said, well, the Egyptians did it. It's as long as we treat them right. And then he proceeded to show me verses that backed up his perception. This is why I said it's a psychology. It's here's this grown man who's leading a place of religion, using a name that's supposed to be of love and light, and his perception of the Bible and why he became a born-again Christian was to learn how to treat other people better, but yet turn around and say, it was all right to do certain things because, it was in the Bible. So we started looking at history, not just the last 500 years, but where did the Europeans learn it from? They learned it from the people that came and slaughtered them and enslaved them and all kinds of stuff. Well, where did they learn it from? They learned it from someone else. In our history of this world, there has always been a slave master and a slave. As far back of everything I've been able to get access to. So the thing I haven't been able to figure out, aside from, greed and power, there's no other explanation for it. So now we're in, looking at all that history of one group of people doing it to another group of people. Some people say that the Egyptians were black people and they enslaved the Jewish people. Well, that was a race thing, because they were brown people and they were black people. So you have all these different things of why a lot of people, especially folks in power today, are doing the things that they're doing. Because most people in history that have kept their power has implemented tools to keep us separated.
30 seconds.
So as long as those tools are still working, that's exactly what's going to happen. We're going to keep having conversations like this, not get to a solution, because it's a psychological battle of such a deep level that the only way to overcome it is to figure out how to unhypnotize the people that are still in that thought process.
Okay, that's good. Paul, what's on your heart, brother? 3 minutes.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, I mean, I was a little upset yesterday after hearing a lot of the comments.
Hey, Paul.
Yesterday.
Paul, your phone is just a
yeah?
little. It's just a tad bit low, brother. Your phone is just a tad bit low.
Oh, okay. I got new headphones.
Okay.
Let me see if I can. All right. Any better now?
We can hear you just a little bit low, but we can hear you. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I got to figure out the settings.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah, like my comment yesterday was, I thought the question was, well, people said it. People said it yesterday. It's a loaded question, and I think it was loaded in a way to that was not going to come up with any good answers or any answers that are going to give clarity and truth. To say why do white people hate black people? I mean, really? You think that white people in general hate black? If that was the case, black people wouldn't exist in this country anymore. If white people really wanted to get rid of black, they could easily, right? Just by numerically, by sheer force of power and so forth. So, and so that's why people were making comments that basically saying that the nature of white people is not to be peaceful, loving, et cetera. Black people, that is the nature of black people to have those characteristics. Comparing white people to animals, I heard comments like that. I heard a lot of things that I didn't find constructive. That's fine. This is a predominantly black show. I can leave. You don't want to hear my voice, I'll leave. But I'm telling you that there are certain, I would say there are certain traits that I see when it comes to discussing issues, controversial issues like this, where somebody who's not black, and I even have some small amount of black ancestors, okay, and I'm not white. So if I have a different opinion, well, I'm going to be branded a certain way, right? I'm going to be, oh, you're a white supremacist, you're a this, you're a that. So that's an unfair way to proceed in a conversation, as I've mentioned other times before.
Let me ask you this question, Paul. So, you said something in what you were saying earlier. You said that if white people did not want us here, then they'll knock us all off, take us all out, based on this mere numbers.
Sure.
Do you think that would or could be a reality?
I don't honestly, to the question, I don't think that white people hate black people. I mean, if that was the case, yeah. Now, do I think that maybe a majority of white people want to be somewhat separate from black people? I think that's probably true. But that's not exactly the same as hatred. So, I think that your average white person, doesn't know that many black people. Honestly, we live in segregated neighborhoods. I have like 2 black people in my neighborhood. That's not very many. So we don't know each other that well. And then when we talk about things like this, people get upset, because they make comments and, you think I'm a racist. I think you said something racist. So then we're not talking to each other anymore. And that's the way some people want it. Some people want it that way. I don't want it that way. I want us to look at each other as brothers, sisters, equal protection, equal right, make do, redress the injustices of the past, all of that. But I do see not a little bit. I see a little black supremacy, a little bit, even on this show. I see a lot of it in other places. A lot of it.
Okay.
So, if you guys don't see it, okay, well, maybe you're not looking in the same places I look. I've been on this racial journey for a number of years. Okay, this is something I spend a lot of time on. I talk about with a lot of different people about this topic, so I'm not just making stuff up.
Okay, good deal, good deal. Let me go to Paul. Paul, what's on your heart? Paul, I mean, I'm sorry. I meant Paul. I'm Pete. I got the Pete and them P's mixed up. I meant Pete.
Oh, okay. Who did you call him?
Pete, brother Pete.
Okay, see, the good brother Paul right there. You know, with what he's saying, that's why we always want to throw in the narrative. We don't want to throw people into groups, right? Because we don't know everybody. We haven't encountered everybody. And, you know, we just can't speak for everybody and what the heck is going on. We're talking about those that are in position and desire power and wealth to separate themselves from the masses of people on this planet, the orchestrators of systems and ways and means. And these conditions we discuss are the derivative effects of that domination in effect, okay? And then all of the schisms and isms and perspectives and all of that are just a sidebar breakdown and an effect of that, right? You can go out I go out the course of my day and I don't experience great racism. Once in a while, I run into one or two here or there that you can tell are racist, okay? They have some type of adverse perspective. Again, it doesn't greatly affect my life unless it's in a key position. It's not greatly going to affect my life and my existence, so it's pretty much irrelevant. Now, my tolerance of that is zero. So at the same time, it's okay if you keep it to yourself, right? But now when you start expressing it, acting on it, and things like that, that's where there's going to be a problem. And specifically with me personally, it would be a problem because I won't accept it, tolerate it, entertain it at all. And I will go to the extreme with you. See, I feel like your perspective is extreme and your position is extreme. And then I feel like with the history in this specific republic society, it's intolerable at this point. Okay? Now, we don't want to just have this back and forth and in and out and accusing people. Listen, if somebody has an adverse, negative perspective, opinion towards you, as long as they're not trying to inflict that perspective on you, you know, yes, it can affect you on a job. It can affect you getting an opportunity or taking advantage of an opportunity. Absolutely. If it's key positioning, it can. But that's where we have to be willing to do the necessary work to thwart that, to diminish the ability of them to do that. That's where we say stand up and don't tolerate it. I have an acronym that says kill racism everywhere you see it. Anytime you encounter it, kill it on the spot. Kill it. Don't entertain it. Try to just explain it. If it don't make sense, why are you wasting time trying to make sense out of it? It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I don't think the greater people in this society are just blatantly 1920 racist like they was back in the day. I don't think they are. They may have a prejudice and a bias and a social, more so a social conditioning that gives them a mental, emotional, spiritual perspective, right? But through interaction, like the brother was just, Paul was just saying, those things can be overcame quickly just by some common, regular interaction. But we want to be clear that from our position, the melanated folk here in this society, there's no more space, time, moments, ability, anything to tolerate racism from anybody directed at us. That's not a position in 2022 that we even need to sit down and discuss with you. If you prejudice, you're safe if you keep it to yourself. If you start expressing it, you put a bullseye around yourself. If you act like you're going to act on it, then it's our duty to neutralize you, up to including killing you, taking your life if necessary, because you are a threat. Period. Period. With the history of this society. That's not that we want to go out and kill people and let's kill. That's not what I'm saying. But we have to have an intolerance for racism toward us from anybody or anything in 2022. Period. There's nothing to entertain, nothing to explain. I will not sit down and reason with you. I will sit down next to you to choke the life out of you. Okay.
Wow.
If you start expressing it and acting on it, keep it to yourself and you're safe. You start teaching it, you start acting on it, you're a threat, and you will be neutralized if you are identified. Period.
Good
We
deal.
see the terrorist acts, we see the
30
murderous
seconds.
acts in this country. Come on now.
Mm-hmm.
But
Good deal.
can we go along to get along if we want to? But if you don't want to get along, I'm not going to be the first one to initiate peace with you. I'm going to be the first one to separate you in pieces.
Good
The
deal.
day of all of that, the kumbaya, that's over with. That's over with. If you want to get the killing going, then got doggone it, let's get the killing started.
Wow. Wow. Let's go to Bishop, and then we're going to Cap. Bishop, what's on your heart?
Get about it. Okay.
Bishop?
Man, that's it. You know, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I grew up in the Deep South, and I've seen a lot. And the people, and the reason I speak from the perspective where I come, growing up, being born in Mississippi, growing up in Alabama, moving to Georgia in the early 60s, man, I saw a lot and I experienced a lot. And I go back to when folks talk about, you know, blacks feel like they're superior. Not none of the people that I've dealt with no, none of us have this mindset of we're better than anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
But we're not going to put ourselves in the mindset that we're not just as good as anybody else either.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can have it, I can have it. You work for it, I work for it. We don't feel like we're entitled, but we do expect to be respected. And that's one of the things that we do. The day to put the strap across the man's back is over with. And I heard, I think Paul was saying that, you know, if the white folks want to get rid of the black, it ain't going to be that easy. You think we're just going to get on the ship and very humbly, kumbaya, my Lord? Man, that ain't it. Now, you know, Pete came with a different mindset, and Pete meant what he said and said what he meant, because he sees, he knows, and he's not going to be disrespected. And I think that's the mindset not only for Pete, but myself and Rico and Leonard and Donald and Kirk and Cap and anybody else that's a man. We're not going to let anybody disrespect us as men. We will work with you. We'll get along with you to the best of our ability. But at the end of the day, it ain't going to be no, you know, this old man mindset that they had. They're scared of Negroes.
Mm-hmm.
They put them Negroes in their place. Oh man, away with that stuff right there. And if anybody thinks that or listen to this show and feel that way, you better wake up and realize this ain't no TV show. This is life at its best. Don't push us the wrong way. We won't act the wrong way. Behind every action will be a reaction. The fact and the question is, and this is not a racist show. That's one thing about this show. It's open to all people.
Yes.
The topics that we deal with may be centered around hatred toward blacks or something like that. But this ain't no thing we talk about.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about so many different things that go on in the world, what goes on in the church, what goes on in relationships. This is one of the things I love about DKM. This is what Raheem brings to the table. So if anybody listening that's white and think it's a black show, it is not a black show. This is a show for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
This is what the show is all about. But what we talk about is life and life issues and realities.
Absolutely.
And that's what we address.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes us feel bad because we ain't did nothing to nobody to be treated like we ain't nothing to nobody.
Mm-hmm.
It was not fair for Rico, who worked on the job, who said, "Hey man, let's put a union in place," and then they turn around and fire him, or they put a target on his back. No, this man trying to bring about equality and work with you. But he even said, even in his own testimony, that when he was doing that, he got trouble from the black folks.
Mm-hmm.
Black folks talking crap to him.
Mm-hmm.
So he experienced a lot of stuff. All of us experience stuff. We ain't got no hatred in our heart. I know I don't.
No.
But I also ain't gonna let nobody treat me no kind of way. And I'm gonna say, well, that's what God told me to let them do. Because God didn't tell me that.
Mm-hmm.
So I know we got 3 minutes. Raheem, you're doing a great job. I love your show. It is not a black show. It is an everybody show.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
we
To
don't
God
just
be the
deal
glory.
with black topics, man. So I just want to tell you. I just want to say that, man. Appreciate you.
Hey, appreciate you as well. Captain, what's on your heart, sir? Talk to me.
Man, Bishop he just laced it, man. He just laced it. I really appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
You're absolutely right.
Hey, Cap, your phone is just it's a little bit low, brother. It's a little bit low. Are you talking directly to the phone?
All right. Yeah, how we sounding now? How we sound?
It's low.
Is it a little bit better?
Nuh-uh. Actually, got lower.
How we doing now?
There
How
you
we
go.
sound?
Now you're cooking with grease.
Listen, let me say this to my friend. Whoa. everybody that speaks on this show, that speaks from a position of loving themselves, they don't think they're superior. They just love themselves. Don't get it twisted that we think we better. Because as I heard Bishop, the day of deception when you don't itch, that day of the black man is over with. Maybe that's what you used to, that dominant, that little docile, always trying to please a people that you can't please. That day is over with. Now, however, Paul, and this, I like what you said, but you got to understand when you use the word racist, there's a lot of racist statements. There may be a lot of prejudice that we say, but black people can't be racist. If we use the term racist, that means one who takes control and deprive another human being of freedom, justice, and equality solely based upon their religion, gender, color, class, or creed. Key word, deprive. Black folks can't deprive white folks of nothing. But y'all have deprived us of freedom. Not you, Paul. Let me say this, and I'm gonna get a off of it. I train law enforcement. I just got through the training over 56 men and women of the Saginaw Police Department. This is my last day was yesterday. And let me tell you, the arrogance. There's a part in the training when we talk about defund the police. Every of these 65 police officers, predominantly white officers, everywhere I do this training, when we say defund the police, you know what they say? Yeah, let us not go and show up to work tomorrow. It's the police thing. And let's see how long it'll be before the black community starts begging for us to come back. I say to you, what such arrogance? You think that you policing our community and you not policing our community would send the black community in chaos? How dare you insult the black community like that? If you don't show up, we may have a better chance of getting our community together because you are on the job now, Mr. Officer, and the community is already in chaos. So you got this arrogance to think that if you don't police our community, you don't show up, black people are going to be in bad shape because you don't show up to work. That's arrogance. To think that black people can't protect themselves, to think that black people can't control themselves, to think that we need you, Mr. Officer, to be controlling our community. And you in our community now and you don't control it. You in our community now, you're not stopping crime. You in our community now, you're not stopping violence. So if you didn't come, maybe we would be better off. But the arrogance to think we need you, the black community can't make it without you. That's the way some white people think. We can't make it without you. And that's the sick, racist mindset of some Caucasian people. We are making it. And what would football be without black people? What would basketball be without black people? You say you don't see us understanding, whites don't understand because a lot of them associate with black. That's a lie. That's a lie. White folks do associate with black people. You do that every time you turn on Monday Night Football. So we can't say they don't know us. You do know us. You've been sleeping up under your bed. We used to serve you. We used to take care of your children. We built your homes. We know you. We picked your cotton. Now people say you don't know us. We definitely know us. But you don't know the new us now. And let me tell you something. To God seconds. Be the glory. Let me tell you this. The Bible said, 6 days, Adam, you shall rule. And on the 7th day, you shall rest. When you could tell me to find Caucasian people to go past 6,000 years, I would shut my mouth. You can't find your history that go past 6,000 years. I didn't say that. Why did you say that the day with the Lord is of 1,000 years? So 6 days and 6,000 years, your rule is over with. The white supremacy rule is over with. The dominant rule of that 6 days is over with. Now God is taking charge. This is the 7,000 year. It's over with.
Good deal. Good deal.
6,000 years to rule.
All right.
Don't get mad at me. Study history in your Bible.
Good deal. Good deal. Gonna keep this thing going on. We're gonna go in this order right here. We're going to go. I got it laid out. We're gonna go to Kay, Rico, and then Leonard. Kay, what's on your heart, sister? Good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. What was I talking about?
We're actually extending the conversation that we had yesterday. We're extending the conversation that we had yesterday, asking the question, why do United States and the world have a disdain towards black people of color?
Okay. I thought that's what you were doing. Oh, no. You didn't get to pull up the Raising Cane thing, clipping?
I did not.
I tried to pull it up and send it to you. I tried to pull it up and send it to you, but it let me pull it up, but it wouldn't let me cut it. My phone wouldn't let me cut it. But it's just something that we've been dealing with, and we would expect it to be over with because there's so many mixed relationships and grandparents that thought they couldn't stand black people. They got mixed black grandkids and they love them to death. So it's just something that we don't control it at all. And so it's the world, and only the Creator can change the world. And so it's something that He's changing, and that's why they got mixed babies, and that's their grandbabies, and they have to love them. They have to love them. But that Raising Cane, when I tell y'all that little clipping from, just go on there and watch it. That one little clipping, the guy told him, if you kill him, we don't kill kids. He said, you should have seen he was going to rape her. He wasn't going to rape her or none of that. But that was somebody else looking in. And that white man was going to kill him. He was going to kill that little young black boy. But because that white girl liked him.
Wow.
The white girl liked him. She came on to him. She had him coming up there to visit her. He wasn't running around. She came on to him. And they was going to kill him. And his mama came in. She ran and got his mama. He going to kill him. He going to kill him. It was just, and then we get on the talk show, and that's what we're talking about. I said, boy, look at God. We better know that God is in control. We're in control. We can't change some people's minds and hearts. Only God can do that.
Absolutely.
They don't be like that. We don't always have them like that.
Wow.
My brother married into a white family, and her daddy, he would leave every time. I'm like, why come I ain't never met her dad? Never met her dad. Because every time the mom invited over, the dad left. He told his mom he would not be a part of that. He left every time.
Wow. Wow. Rico?
Hey, is Willa still on?
Yes.
Let her go, and then I'll go after her, man, because she's been a second. I don't think she only spoke with once.
Okay. Now how you gonna control the rotation? I got a rotation going here, man.
Oh, I know you got to go through the screen. I'm looking at the time. I'm just being courteous. I understand your rotation, but I'm just being courteous.
Oh, okay. Well, let's be courteous. Willow, what's on your heart, sis?
I was just listening to everybody, and I was listening to Paul, and I kind of understand him because I think even in his conversation, he was just maybe a little hectic to say some things that was on his heart. But he gets on this line, and I've seen times where he said some awesome things that he wants us to come together as a people. When we listen to this show, Raheem, I always think about solutions, and I always think about that God is trying to help somebody out there and put a message out there where we could be a better people. Because when we pray, we say our Father. I don't say the black folks or Asians or Spanish. We say our Father. And I do understand what the subject is today. But even in this subject, we can have good things come out of it. The Bible says that all things work together for the good of them who love the Lord. So I believe that when he does things, he does it for his good. We don't allow the enemy to come in and separate us as a people. We've been through something, because we're in our 60s and 70s. And sometimes that passion comes out. And it seems like we're really angry. And we are. We're angry about something that we couldn't change. But you know what? I give honor to my forefathers because they went through something that today, me being who I am today, I don't know. They might have hung me on that tree the first day. But what I'm saying is, Raheem, is Then I give homage to my history, to those people that thought about the future for the next generation. And I believe that that's the path that they're trying to set for us, that we need to think about what can we do as a people to set that path for the next generation. And I love that speech that Martin Luther King, every time I hear it, I get happy about it. That we can come together as a people and love on one another. If we could do that right here, we'll be a better people.
Absolutely.
But we know how the enemy is running rapid in this world. And that's what's on my heart.
Good deal. Rico, talk to me, brother.
Yeah, man, I like what she said, man. You know, I looked up the definition of, well, I'm gonna say I looked up the reasoning behind hate. I asked, what does hate come from, or where does hate come from? And it said hate is a feeling of intense hostility and aversion, usually deriving from fear. That's a key word right there, deriving from fear. I wonder if the people that created this white supremacy hate, and the reason why I'm sticking to white supremacy, because it has rubbed off into the Chinese that's over on the continent of Africa still, exemplifying that behavior and that activity that puts the black person on the bottom of the totem pole. That's white supremacy that created that system of classification. So I'm gonna stick to the topic of why does America and the world hold black people in such a low regard, since we don't want to use the word hate. But they said that about fear. So we know about dominant genes. I imagine I probably would, if I feared being extinct, annihilated, possibility that, you know what I'm saying, what I really believe in and support as far as race go might not exist one day. Man, that's a scary thought. So when people start finding that out, they might start acting on that. Then the other part of it says anger. Well, I know sometimes people might get a little angry and frustrated if some people have abilities or qualities or could do things that they just can't do. Sooner or later they get fed up and they get mad. And then it says, or a sense of injury. Well, I don't think we injured nobody to make everybody put us on the bottom of the totem pole and even want to go to Africa and mistreat them black people and treat them like dogs and slaves and record it and think it's okay. Or for George Floyd to sit on that man's neck and with joy press his knee down in front of people. Or them guys shot Ahmaud Arbery. You know, I don't think we did nothing to ask for that. Ahmaud Arbery was just jogging and being black. A lot of people get pulled over driving while black. All the different instances that happen. Philando Castile just wanted to pull out his ID. You know, I don't think he did nothing to deserve that, but that's what creates hate. That's what creates hate. And then it goes on to say, it is extreme dislike or disgust. So when you dislike or discuss something to the point to where you hate it, you know, that's not the problem of that person that you hating on. That's your problem. That's something going on within you. But then, you know, you have to ask, where does it come from? Even where does that come from? What can that hate and that anger come from? It can come from being jealous. It can come from being envious. It can come from just something you can't control. And for some reason, you hate these people because they naturally have gifts that you don't have, and there ain't nothing you can do about it. Now, maybe you can dance. That's cool. But Rachel Dolezal, she wanted to take it to a whole nother level. She wanted to be black so bad. She didn't hate us, but she said she's just going to adapt and darken her skin a little bit. And, you know, there's some black people out there that want to be white.
Yeah.
Because they see the benefits to it. But so there's envy on both sides. But the thing is that in this situation of wondering why the black people, the black race, the melanated race from continent to continent is still going through the same white supremacy racism, even from other ethnic groups, is because of hate and envy. And it comes from many different reasons. It's not just because of the jealousy or the envy. You know, it's for other reasons too, but mainly it all comes from something that's going on within them. Most times I know just from human activity, a lot of times people they might have reason they deserve to be hated. Maybe they did bad things. It's all based on behavior, activity. You know what I'm saying? So if you, behavior and action, you may have done something that deserves you deserve to be hated for what you did.
Mm-hmm.
But
Wow.
when people hate you for something and you ain't even did nothing, your behavior and your activity is what they hate too.
Absolutely.
Because they just can't do it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Leonard, good
Hey,
morning, sir.
Raheem.
How you doing? Yes, ma'am.
Look, it's funny we talking about this, but look what news break went across my phone and said ex-Kansas City, Kansas police detective was arrested early this morning by an FBI agent for terrorizing Black residents of the city, sexually assaulting women, and exchanged drugs for information in order to clear cases.
Wow. Wow.
And that's a white cop.
Wow. Leonard,
Good morning, Raheem. Morning, Glow family.
good morning, sir. How you doing this morning? Asking the question, this is an extension of the conversation we had yesterday, man. Why is it that United States and the world, if you will, have a dislike or a disdain towards Black people?
I think when we talked about it yesterday, I was like, it's just the perspective of the matter. The majority of the world is Black.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
come on.
First you have to understand, just because some people say something, it's the credit that you give them.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem. Now, I'm learning to understand that some Negroes have
Let me throw some in for a second, because you said something that's very interesting. You said that the majority of the world is Black, and our brother Paul said earlier that said if the white people wanted to take us out, then based on the numbers alone, they could do that. That's a contrast right there. What do you say to that?
Paul not talking really about white people.
Mm-hmm.
Paul talking about the support that white people are used to from law enforcement is what Paul is talking about.
I wish you was still on. I would ask him. I wish you was still on.
That's what Paul is talking about,
Mhm.
is the system turning against Black people, not necessarily the white guy walking down the street.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That's a whole different issue. And see, the credence that some of you have given white people is something that I don't identify with, because white people have never been anything for me to worship or respect.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've never considered them in that way. And the white people I meet that do have this problem find themselves having to go the other way. Like Captain Dennis said, he just went to Saginaw or whatever. People can say what they want. Run up on me and see.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't even be worried about what somebody's talking about, what they gonna do or can do. Run the hell up and see.
Hey. Mm-hmm.
So that this whole notion that, first of all, fear is within you. You fear what you want to fear.
Mm-hmm.
It could be completely. There are a lot of Black people that live in outer space with their fears and things. Some of them are just ridiculous, just like white. Just like white.
Exactly.
When we get past race, I'm telling you, I guarantee you, when you get past race, the world opens up 100 times, and then you'll see the real picture.
Mm-hmm.
But see, if you stuck in your race cage, which many are, that's where you're gonna stay.
Okay. Okay.
Because you can't think outside of nothing but the color of your skin.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Just because somebody tells you something don't make it true. White folk been lying, and if you teach your children about the lies, you don't have the problem. But when you sit there and you try to come up with a bigger lie or something like that, that's where you fail at. People who fear are people who have no idea how to deal with things.
Did you say white
That's
folks
what
always
fear
been?
is, anxiety.
Did you say white folks always been lying?
They've been lying. I ain't make that up.
Let me go to Cassandra. Go ahead, brother. Finish your thought.
We have to get around. We have to be more concerned about taking control of our own existence, not me and yours.
Mm-hmm.
You taking care of your business, Rico take care of his business, and then we can come together and sit at a table like real men instead of like slaves.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Stay right there. Let me go to Cassandra. Cassandra, what's on your heart?
Yeah, I keep and this is something that I reflect back on a lot. And I've shared this on the show before about the experience I had with when I was managing businesses and I had a regional that I absolutely. This man was really good to me, really good to my children, to my church. He did a lot of stuff. He really did. And then we were talking one time about church. And I said, oh, you know what? I'd love to come and visit your church. And he gave me this like really weird look. He said, Cassandra, let me be honest. He said, Black people don't go to my church. And I believe that we don't need to be in the same churches. Black people need to go to Black. I was crushed by that. And to me, that was such a pain to know that he felt that way, but he did all of this stuff, you know, and I know he cared about me and my family, but the fact that his mentality, and this is from a religious perspective, that's all I'm talking about. The most divided place in this country on Sunday mornings are the churches, for the most part. You got a few that integrate or whatever, but for most part, Black people go to Black churches, Asian people go to Asian churches, Mexican people go to you understand what I'm saying? So I just, you know, I don't understand Christianity and hatred are, you know, will not want to be a part or spend time with other people of other races. I don't get it. It just doesn't. It doesn't connect for me.
Exactly.
It just doesn't.
It does. No, not at all. Not at all. Toussaint, talk to me, brother.
I was sitting in the office and the manager came in and he said, Toussaint, I want you. You know, it's good to have you as part of the team. He says, but I have to be honest with you. I wasn't too happy when you got this job. Because I didn't have a hand in it. And my response was, I understand. And I left it just like that. Because some people feel like it'll come out if you just listen. That they really feel like there's a need for them. And if they figure that they can do without you, they feel like they can just do without you or annihilate you. Ask them. They'll say it out of their mouth. If we feel like, if we hated you, if we really hated you, don't you think we just could get rid of you?
Wow.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah. That's exactly.
And I'm not mad. That's just the way people think. And it's been like that. But why are you trying to get rid of me? What you think I'm gonna be doing?
Exactly. Badger, what's on your heart, brother?
Man, I was sitting here thinking about the things that I was sharing and things Willow and stuff was saying, and that was the one thing I've never been able to figure out or understand is how much people will use whatever they can to keep their power. Even something that as beautiful as the teachings of Jesus, right? The amount of people or the amount of humans that have used that for personal gain is frightening. And the amount of people that are under that hypnosis of who the person that's preaching it is speaking truth. Like, how do you get someone to wake up from that when they honestly believe that the way that preacher is living is the correct way? That's a type of psychology that I swear you need hypnosis folks or people that are trained to do that. Maybe that'll work. I don't know what else to say. And then there's the flip side. There's other people who that are like me that's been able to just break out of it with no issues. And it seems like a lot of younger people are too. They're trying to create a better world. You know, there's more activists than ever that are constantly fighting, pushing for a better future. There's all kinds of things going on. Yet, there are still small places all over America that have held on to such a hateful way of thinking that I don't even know what to come up with. It's constant prayer every day. Give me the words, give me something to reach these people, to help them. And I don't know.
Wow.
There are just some people that are way out there. Maybe that's why they're supposed to be here, to teach us how not to behave. I don't know. I don't have the answer. I'm not God.
Yeah.
But what I do know is trauma causes us a lot of issues. The psychology of what's going on that is used by the people in power do not want us to work together.
Wow.
And as long as we keep fighting over certain things, it's going to keep happening. When you go among a group of white folks and you start bringing up this topic, they're going to go, what about black on black crime? What about the black people that are in places of power, like in the Senate and the House and everything else? Some of them, honestly, are not able to see that racism exists.
Wow.
So you have to teach them how to see it. So there's so many different perspectives on all sides. But the core of the matter is, we're all dealing with people in power that want to keep us where they want us.
Wow. Well, listen, we got to get out of here for a second. I got a couple of comments here. Let's see, can I pull this one up real quickly? Let me see here. Let me take it. It's easy for me to read this way. This is Paul. He said, does Toussaint think that was my sentiment about what a white supremacist would think? That is not me. That is a hypothetical. He said it was a hypothetical. And then we have somebody else says something here. Cassandra talked about affirmative action so brilliantly today. She contrasted the attitude about AA with the attitude of those who has no problem when blacks were being discriminated against and kept out of jobs, schools, military, academics, government, jobs, etc. She is on point. Isn't it ironic that COVID is killing off and it cut off right there? I don't know what happened. It cut off right there. But yeah, those are some of the comments that's in the box here that's coming across the pike. But we got to get out of here, man. It's 10:11, man. It's been a great conversation. I want to have another.
Bye.
I'm sorry.
No, say bye.
Oh, okay. I really want to have another conversation. And it's probably not going to be the entire broadcast, but I want to touch on this again. But this time I want to talk about it on an aspect of what are some of the solutions, because we didn't really get to the solution part of it. And that's why I like to pretty much end it, but it was so much stuff. There was so much meat going on today. I wasn't able to get there, but I really want to come back and have another conversation. Maybe about 30, 40 minutes, maybe an hour, where we actually talk about solutions and what are some of the solutions that we need to do, that we can collectively do realistically to help out. Rico, what's going on at 3 o'clock today?
Hey, Raheem, before you run into Rico, one question that was asked, and I asked the question, and I guess I could have sent it to you outside of this media outlet, is that how many white folks been told, go back to where you come from, go back to Africa?
Wow.
Where they gonna go?
Right.
Wow.
That's what we hear. That's why I asked the question.
Mm-hmm.
You know, someone disrespect us and throw that question in. Go back to where you come from. Go back to Africa. I was born here in America. I wasn't born in Africa.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, that's the question, man. You know, I just thought I'd throw it at you. All right.
Good deal.
I'm out.
Anybody have anything else they want to say before we get out of here? Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. You know, just to piggyback a little bit on what Bishop said, they could not even go back to the countries where they originally came from, a lot of them, because they wouldn't take them.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? It's just, to me, the mentality of that, telling people to go back there. You can't go back. What if we said all white people, the only people that could stay here are the indigenous people? What if we said that? This was their country. Y'all stole it. What if we said that? Where are they going? Those countries will not even accept them back. Some of them have where they ain't taking you back. Ain't nobody coming into their country. They don't want immigrants, period. And you would be considered the very thing that you're hating in this country.
Wow.
Does that make sense? Think about
It
that.
does. It does. Go ahead. Yes.
I never defend myself. But I'm just speaking, and I will continue to. I don't point people out. I'm just saying what I'm saying because my mouth open. But I will say this: the narrative had been changed from the beginning. It never did say. We never did say why white people don't like black people. That wasn't the beginning. It turned into that.
Yeah.
The emptiest wagon make the most noise.
Wow. Anybody else have anything they want to say before we get out of here?
Yeah, man. Donald took it where I've been wanting to take it, man. I mean, this is something that happens all the time, and we don't stick to the topic. Like the first topic was about the right and the wrong, and then people being done the way they were done, but it turned into an immigration and a political talk.
Exactly. Yep.
And that
Sure
was this
did.
one, once again, it turns into a different thing. And what happens is what Badger spoke of. There's a lot of people that still don't like their knowledge or realize that this stuff exists. And some of them don't realize they're benefiting from it. But the benefit and advantage and entitlements that they do get, they think it's just normal. They think everybody gets it, but they don't. So it's hard to let that go. It's hard to, I mean, listen, when you are hypnotized, you living in a traumatized, hypnotized state, sometimes you don't realize the reality. And we have been hypnotized. He brought it up eloquently. I mean, I say it all the time too, man. You know, we are living under the illusion of the American dream. But we really, the reality is that we living under white supremacy. That system. And we want to succeed in it. And we believe that if we make it succeed, we'll do better. The American dream. I mean, white supremacy. So that's what it really boils down to. And so you asked the question about hate. That's what the question is about. Why are black people, not only in America, but around the world, vilified and held in such low regard, even on their own continent? And once you get people to accept that that is it, instead of going back and saying, well, hey, maybe it's because y'all feel superior. No, let's just talk about why these Chinese people feel it's cool to go over to Africa and do what white people did in South Africa and Africa. Why is it cool for people to think it's okay to go to another person's homeland and treat them inhumane and control them and take their resources and chop their hands off and do all the barbaric and savage things that we hate to associate with human beings? But guess what? They did it. If they acted like animals, damn it, they got to wear them shoes. Those that did it. So if that were solution, but in the process of listening, sometimes we don't pick up a solution. The solution is in acknowledging, realizing first, and acknowledging that it exists, and then finding out how to fix it and why it exists. Because if you can acknowledge, if you don't even acknowledge that it exists or realize it, or you could deflect and take away, go to a whole nother topic, and we don't even address what the issue is, then it ain't gonna get fixed. So you got to acknowledge it, and you got to focus on that and stick to it, one problem at a time.
Absolutely. Anybody else have anything they want to say before we get out of here? Cap, what's on your heart over there?
Hey, man, I love everybody. Peace and love. Happy weekend, folks.
Yes, sir.
Monday, God willing.
Yes, sir. So, Rico, what's going on at 3 o'clock today, sir?
Man, it's supposed to be a rebroadcast. So if you missed the entirety of this broadcast, you can see it or hear it at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on www.dkmmediagroup.com.
Good deal. We're about to get out of here, man. It's 10:17. Y'all took me overtime again today. Y'all done did it to me again, but I got my tie on, boy. I'm looking dapper there. with a nice little tie here too. But anyway, hey, Toy, you want to tea? Are you back with us? Toy, you want to tea? Are you back with us? I know she had stepped away for a second. I think she's still gone. Okay. Well, I gotta ask a question. Is she here?
Come on, Raheem. Let's go.
Today is Friday.
Go, Raheem.
Today is Friday. We got to make it through the weekend. So is she here?
Come on, Raheem. Let's go.
Well, you know what?
Go, Raheem.
Now that I know you're here, Willa, let's go.
Let's go, Raheem. Let's go before the throne of grace this morning. Let's go with boldness and let's go with confidence. Father, we thank you, Lord, for waking us up this morning. We thank you, Lord, for allowing us to commune one to another. Father, we thank you for being in the midst of this message, oh Lord. Father, you said it in your word to love one another as you have loved us. And Father, we know that you love us unconditionally. You bestow on us grace and mercy each and every day, even when we don't deserve it. Father, we love you. You're an awesome example of what love is in our life through your word. Father, we thank you for your word. You sent your words to heal us, oh Lord. And Father, I'm continually asking prayer for Curtis, oh Lord. Father, I know that you can heal him, whatever it is that's going on with him, oh Lord. Father, I know you can. Father, he's going to come back on this line with a praise report. Father, I believe it. I believe that it's already done.
Yes, Lord.
I'm asking you, oh Lord, to touch each and every last one that's on this line. Keep them in a mighty way. Line them up with your will and show them understanding and give them knowledge, the truth. Father, we thank you for it. We give you the honor, the glory, and the praise. Father, I continually ask you to touch Raheem and his family. Keep DKM Radio number one. And Father, I believe that you put it in a message. I thank the Lord for it. In Jesus' name. Amen, amen, and amen.
Amen. Amen. Good deal. Anybody have any thoughts, anything before we get out of here? Good deal. What everybody got going on for the weekend? Anybody got anything good going on the weekend? Got some activities or things that we need to talk about before we get out of here? Cassandra.
Yes, sir.
You put something on there about something at Kennesaw. Explain to me what that was.
Okay, so there is a Confederate store, one of those stores, the racist ones where they have all the things killed, about no blacks allowed, all kind of stuff, all kind of crazy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a white female that owned a building on Main Street in Kennesaw, and she has been trying to get the city of Kennesaw, the city council, to take down to close the business because it's on Main Street. Mm-hmm. This is what represents your city. Mm-hmm. And so they said that they could not make them close the business because it was grandfathered in. Mm. So then her and her father decided to sell their building that they've had for over 30-something years on that Main Street because it's right across the street from their business. Mm-hmm. And they did not want to be associated, with that type of look. Mm-hmm. So they're having a city council meeting, and she says it's about hate, the what it looks like mm-hmm. to people of color that may come downtown Kennesaw and see that store. It speaks for the entire city. Now, and I agree.
When is it?
I put it out there. I put the date out there. It's next week, one day, Monday or Tuesday. But I'm gonna go. I think it's Tuesday. But I'm gonna go to the meeting because she asked me to come mm-hmm. because I really stand against hatred and racism, and this is what this store represents. Okay, I'm always hitting stores like that.
I'm actually looking at your page right now. Let me see. I'm trying to pull up the actual date for it. I see I see it here. I don't see the date. I want to get the date so I can let everybody know when it is. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't. I don't see the date here. Long time business moving after a Civil War store reopens. That's really it. I'm at to look. Let me see. A sign indicated there. Okay, I'm at to look in a little deeper because I'm not really seeing the date here because I want.
It's Monday night at 6:30 in downtown Kennesaw at the in downtown Kennesaw.
Okay, this Monday coming.
Yes.
Okay. Look for me.
At 6:30.
Look for me. I'm coming out. I want to be there as well. So definitely look for me. Keep me posted between now and then. I don't want to. I've been doing a lot of things I don't want to forget. So keep me posted. But I definitely want to be there.
All right.
Good deal. Now.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you. Anybody else got anything going on? Anybody else got anything going on that they need anybody to know about? Okay. With that being said, we're about to close out for today. It's been a great broadcast. I want to thank everybody for joining us. And more than that, I want to thank you for allowing DK, your media group and associates, and the Morning Glow for being a part of your morning. It is now, 10:24. You're about to exit the Morning Glow. But before you go, I want you to do me two favors, if you will. One, I want you to continue to pray for us because we're certainly praying for each and every one of you. Number two, why this is real simple. I want you to go out there, find somebody and give them a hug because you never know. It could be the only hug that they get, or it could very well be their last. Love you, and ain't nothing you could do about it. Have a great day and a better tomorrow. And we shine some of this light on you for the Morning Glow. Take it out there into this wicked and cruel world that we live in and let your light so shine. If you get an opportunity, give somebody some love. You just might find some love in return. Won't that be a beautiful thing? Have a great day. Have a great weekend. Take care of each other. And please, please, please be blessed. Love you. See you Monday morning. If God say the same. Take care of each other. Have a great weekend. We out.